That's the best I can do with this here. Give me a second. Let me. Get on here. Check green screen. Let's set it around green screen on here. You guys. Monday, I'm back. I hope you missed me. I missed you guys. Well, I guess technically I was back on Friday too because Trump is just, he's lost his mind. And he hasn't found it over the weekend. I'll tell you, there has now, I guess not since 1981, have there been shots fired at a pope over politics, but Donald Trump is under demonic influence. So he's decided to aim a few figuratively at His Holiness Pope Leo the 14th, and it's not going well for him. It is not going well for Trump at all. Also, in case you missed it, Baron Coleman made a shocking discovery last week in the Tyler Robinson filings, which confirmed some of our earlier reporting. We should definitely go over it because outside of naked corruption, the way that I'm looking through these matters, I see no way in which the feds can win this case. Tyler Robinson, in my view, did not commit this crime. I'm convinced, and I'm going to show you more evidence as to why I am convinced. And last,
Thank you for the thumbs up.
guys,
Happy Monday. I got a new stand. I ordered it off of Amazon. Put me on a little swivel just in case I start vlogging or something.
donors have contacted me, Turning Point USA donors that were in Aspen when Charlie allegedly said, I
Oh,
point to
I
Erica.
put Erica in
They
case I.
told me that that audio is completely faked
Oh,
and they are shocked.
oh,
So, welcome back to Candace.
The police officer at the scene told me to never
I
step
didn't let her
out
intro come on.
after my car accident. I took his
We
advice.
knew that it was fake. We need you to tell us that. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. Shout out to all the men in the world, the real ones, not that other stuff. We do listen, only the real men. We understand if you could, dress up like one and take your hormones like one. We do understand, but we just want to give a shout out to the real ones, the biological men. Is no shade. We just want to make sure that, the men know that they are highly appreciated in this world of today. Ooh, we know it's hard out there. However, yeah, we're gonna give a shout out to the men. Like I said, when we only just focusing on the real men, the biological men is no shade to nobody else, what you do on the weekend and stuff like that. But the quote on the thumbnail is for men.
Where we get to the meat and potatoes of today, I first have to tell you about my weekend because it was a little cray cray.
Go ahead, girl.
I'm pretty convinced that my life is a sitcom, okay? One that's probably being written by Will Ferrell.
I would love to see the behind the scenes series of that Candace. I would love to see some behind the scene footage. But you know who had me laugh? First of all, pause. Just pause. Give me a second. Uh-uh. I got off a line. First of all, my head was hurting so bad last night. I didn't have no other choice but to get off. My head was hurting so bad. However, excuse me. Oh, Niecy dropped. When? Oh my God. Niecy dropped too. Okay. Well, we're going to come to her tomorrow. D-Lex, why are you on my algorithm? Okay. Let me. Did CNN drop an interview today with Amanda? What's her name? Um, Ungaro. Oh, 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 she did. Oh my God. Hold on, let me just see something real quick, real fast, real quick, real fast. You know, Ungaro. If you don't, listen, I told you I got off too early. I couldn't help it. My head was hurt. Um, the chick, Melania. Um, who the fuck is this again? Let me see. I need Amanda Ungaro. Let me see what she had to say. Child, you be so
Trump walked up to a
nosy.
podium this week and did something no First Lady has ever
Thank you for
done.
the thumbs up.
She denied knowing Jeffrey Epstein, unprompted, unscheduled. A surprise press conference, just to say, I was not his victim. I was not his participant.
The lies linking me
The
with the
lies,
disgraceful Jeffrey
the
Epstein
grateful.
need to end today.
Child, do you see
I
that
have
wig?
been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City, Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional record. Washington didn't know what to make of it, but within hours, a verified account on X bearing the name Amanda Ungaro fired back with a public threat, claiming 20 years of proximity to the First Lady and promising to, quote, expose everything she knows.
Did I read that one? Yeah.
Everything she knows.
Who is Amanda?
You haven't heard of Amanda Ungaro, but she says she's been in the room for 20 years.
Uh-huh.
She's Brazilian, a model,
Oh.
and she was pulled into the American dream the same way Melania was by the same man.
Oh.
Paolo Zampoli,
Hello.
modeling agent, Trump loyalist, the man credited with discovering Melania, bringing her to America, and handing her quite literally to Donald Trump. Zampoli found Ungaro too, recruited her, brought her over. And for years, she says, she sat at the same table, the Mar-a-Lago table,
Oh.
the New Year's Eve table,
Oh.
the one with Donald and Melania at the head of it. She and Zampoli were together for years. They separated in 2023. But the memories, those she kept.
Uh-oh.
Here's where it gets dark.
Oh.
Ungaro says that at 17 years old, she boarded Jeffrey Epstein's private jet, Paris to New York. Her agent, Jean-Luc Brunel, was with her. So were 30 other girls. Beautiful and very young, she told Brazil's O Globo newspaper. I felt immediate discomfort and wanted to get off the plane. I sensed something was wrong, but I did not fully understand the abuse at the time. She doesn't accuse Epstein of assaulting her directly, but she calls herself a product of his machine, the modeling ecosystem he and Brunel built specifically to traffic in young women. Brunel is dead. Epstein is dead. But Ungaro is very much alive. And she's talking. Fast forward to 2025. Ungaro is arrested in Miami. The charge? Running an alleged unlicensed cosmetic surgery clinic. Botox, procedures, no license. And just like that,
All right.
she's not just a defendant. She's a detainee. ICE picks her up. She spends more than 3 months in immigration detention. In September 2025, she asks a judge to just deport her. Send me back to Brazil. I'm done. And that should have been the end of it. Then Melania opened her mouth. A verified account. Blue tick. Active since
Is that Angela? No, that's Naomi Campbell. I don't know why I thought that was Angela Simmons. It kind of, I mean, it's Naomi Campbell.
2025, somewhere in Latin America. The name, Amanda Ungaro. The target, the First Lady of the United States. The message, hello, Melania. I was around you for 20 years. You knew I was inside ICE, and you know what hurts after all this time? I stayed close to your family, your mother, your father, at events, at everything else. Not because of you, because of them. So shut your mouth when speaking about me,
Ooh.
because I will expose everything I know. No vague accusations, no attorney drafted statement, no carefully worded press release. Just a woman, a name, and a threat. Nobody asked Melania Trump to hold that press conference. No formal accusation had been filed. No lawsuit, no congressional hearing, no subpoena. She walked up to that podium on her own. And a woman who says she spent 20 years inside that world, at those tables, at those parties, beside that family, watched it happen from somewhere in Latin America, and decided she had something to say. The question isn't whether Amanda Ungaro can prove what she knows. The question is, why did the First Lady of the United States feel the need to deny it first? That answer? We're still waiting for it.
Dang, TK back on Vlad. Ah, my goodness. I'm gonna definitely have to catch TK. For sure. Give myself a little thumbs up. All right, let me get back to Candace, Lord.
Times believe I could be a Sims character and someone's having a lot of fun. So, on background, I had not spoken about this before because it's pretty lame, but my foot has been broken for the last 4 weeks. I broke my foot, no joke, on Friday the 13th. There's a picture. And I was doing nothing. It was very uncool. I was wearing a slipper that was too big for me. And I got up to take one step. I slipped inside the slipper and I landed like this on the front of my right foot, heard the pop. Very proud of myself. I did not scream because my daughter was within earshot and I didn't want to scare her. But anyway, as you can imagine, with 4 kids beneath the age of 5, it's a minor inconvenience. Okay. I can't
Right.
even hold my youngest, who is 11 months, not yet walking beyond, a few feet before it grows too tiresome. So anyway, Saturday morning, I get up all the kids, right? We're going to this outdoor market. We're going to meet up with Theo Vaughn. My kids love Theo Vaughn. And at this particular market, there
That's so crazy because Theo said this. Well,
to be a playground. I want to be clear, it is a preschool playground. It is for toddlers, not even for kids. So I buy what I need to buy at this market, and my husband is with me, and he's holding 11-month-old because I can't hold him. And it's already, not the best Saturday morning because I had only just learned the day before via a presidential statement that Brigitte Macron is way better looking than me. I actually learned that it's not even close. It's not even close. I'm kind of ashamed to show my face in public. I'm wearing my big sunglasses. Anyway, so I got what I needed for dinner, and I was then heading to the toddler playground right next to the market. So the kids could run around for a bit.
Sure.
And about
Wear
40
they stuff out.
feet away from the little gate that opens the playground, my husband notices that there's an older woman that's laid out on the concrete in the middle of the parking lot. There's 2 men standing above her. There's obviously something going on. I instantly know what that means. My husband is that kind of guy who is always going to go try to help in every scenario. And he's like, well, I've met her get in the car. I've met her. Let me just see if she's okay. And I'm like, mildly being a little selfish because I'm
Right.
realizing I'm going to have to hold the bag and I have to hold the baby. And I'm like, there's already guys over there. But I'm like,
Right.
obviously, you should go and you should try to help and see if they've called 911. So I just want to put that in your mind. Me, boots, like medical boots, walking with a limp, holding a grocery bag
Right.
on my left shoulder, and a very tall, off the charts tall 11-month-old.
Off the chart
Just
tall.
want you to know that in this moment, I'm obviously a victim. It's also like 85 degrees,
Ooh.
boiling on top of that.
Ooh.
And I make the 40 feet journey And as soon as I get onto the playground at this preschool, I see Cabot Phillips. Okay.
Wow. No.
There's something I probably should have told you. And it's okay. Erica's ex-boyfriend,
Right.
one of the many current Daily Wire employee who was featured on my podcast when Mitch gave a description of the guy that he believed that he saw with Erica at Fort Huachuca back in September. You will recall that I texted Cabot Phillips before we mentioned him on the podcast, looking for a simple yes or
Yes
no
or no.
response. Hey, were you at Fort Huachuca? Guy kind
Right.
of thinks this person fits your description. He
Right.
made a decision
Right.
not to answer. Not really sure why. I kind of think it's because he works at the Daily Wire and it's kind of like a big drama club and they overthought it. And we're like, we can just ta-da and surprise her, whatever.
Right.
Anyways, he looks at me and his jaw, literally his mouth was ajar, like a sitcom. I don't think people really do that. I didn't think people really did that in real life, but he did. So I said, hi, Cabot, because what else would you say when someone's like this? You know,
With that
and
wide
he
open.
goes, no, you know what? I am really not wanting to do that right now. And I said, okay, we don't have to do anything. We are in a very confined space here with very small children. He had his 2-year-old. I've got 4 kids off his playground. He was outnumbered, to be clear. I got 4 kids on his playground, but he was fired up. So he wanted to have a little verbal tussle, I guess. And his energy was giving dad at a t-ball game, you know, the one that wants to argue with the ump who's really like a teenager volunteering.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no. So he then said to me,
Trying to
rather
make a scene.
mysterious, really mysteriously, he was like, this is my son. So I look at the kid, really cute, and I said, oh, hi. And he goes, oh, really? Because of you, people don't believe that he is my son. Okay.
What?
Totally confused. I was so confused. I've never been more confused. I'm also hot and I can't walk. I have investigated a great many things on his podcast.
Right.
Paternity of Cabot Phillips.
Never.
Not this show. Wrong
Never.
show, wrong podcast.
Sorry.
His grandmother, absolutely, that was me. But this, a little bit out of line. So I said, Cabot, this is not the appropriate place. We are on a toddler playground. If you would like to step outside of this designated play area and have a conversation, I would be happy to, but not in front of my kids. And then he says, oh, now you care about kids? I was like, yeah,
What?
that's kind of my whole brand. I care about kids, and my kids have no idea what I do. So, again, if you'd like to step out of this perimeter, we can have a chat. And then he sort of huffed and he was texting on his phone. And then he decided that he wasn't done, I guess. And this next part, I just was like, who is writing the script? He drops his bottom lip like this. And he says, this is my tattoo. Here it is. This is my tattoo.
Pizza?
See? And I couldn't see anything from where I was standing. I had no idea what was happening. 4 kids, a broken foot, the inside of Cabot's bottom lip, all happening in like 85-degree muggy weather. There's just no justice in this world. I want you guys to understand I was a victim. I'm being victimized on this toddler playground. And the dialogue, obviously, in my head was, Cabot, please put your lip back inside of your mouth before I punch you in your face. But I'm a doll. I'm like a Southern peach now. So I instead reinforced to him, I said, Cabot, we are on a toddler playground. This is
Right.
just not the appropriate place.
Right.
And then he said, oh, would your podcast be a more appropriate place?
Yeah.
And that was giving Todd from Wedding Crashers when he's like, oh, will that make you love me? And yeah, obviously my podcast would be a more appropriate place because like toddlers are not my general demographic. And I would like to state unequivocally that never in the history of this podcast have I discussed Cabot Phillips' tattoos or his inner lips. And anyway, I think after this, he suddenly sort of arrived at his senses and realized that it was very strange to take your lip out at a toddler playground. But of course, because my life was actually a sitcom, someone thought, wouldn't it also be funny if then after all of that, their like 2 kids wanted to be friends with one another? Exactly what happened. My 2-year-old has now worked out that he's basically the same size as Cabot. Looks like he's 2-year-old. And the 2 of them are looking at each other like they want to play. And I'm like, are we going to do this? I'm looking at my son, looking at his stuff. It's like, are you guys going to really do? And they were like, did we just become best friends? And they're looking at each other like, we're the same size. We have the same color hair. And I then had to sit there for the next 15 and 20 minutes,
With
sitting
nothing
there with my
planned.
broken foot. as our little toddlers drove around each other in their cars. So I just wanted you to know that that is my life in a nutshell. My life is very strange and it's unpredictable. And I
Yes.
wanted to also state that I believe that that is Cabot Phillips' child. I never made the claim otherwise, but he certainly seemed to know him and to like him. So whatever pocket of the internet is looking into that, consider the matter closed. Anyway, had to share that with you. Moving on, some actually huge breaking news to you regarding Erica. Now, before we went on break, we had
Right.
informed you that I had been sort of quietly prodding the narrative for months that Charlie, a mere weeks before his untimely death,
Mhm.
literally weeks before, took the stage in Aspen at this investor retreat where he was giving an update on the company. And he stood in front of a bunch of donors. And for some reason, after somebody asked him a question
Right.
about what would happen
In the case of
if you died, because that's a totally normal question to ask,
Right.
that Charlie declared that he wanted to appoint Erica as the CEO and the chairman of his company.
Ooh.
Didn't pass the sniff test for obvious reasons. Okay, number one, no husband ever, no man ever would say, if I am killed on the job, I want my wife to assume the dangerous position that I just occupied.
Right.
Right? Put another way, they want us to believe that Charlie was like, look, if I get assassinated, my wife should then be put in that very position that led to my assassination. Hopefully, our kids will figure it out. It just makes no sense.
Ooh.
Beyond anything else, I just want you to feel free to be able to produce sense. That's kind of the point of my whole podcast.
Sure.
It's okay to have common sense and to not rely on experts. They're increasingly stupid. And so I just was like, I'm going to look into that.
Sure.
And
Boy, I
somebody
did.
telling us all about how they had caught this amazing moment on video. We had first actually heard this from Erica, as we showed you, telling Megyn Kelly. They all sort of repeated it. This is what Charlie said. When pushed, Turning Point declined to show the video. Instead, they chose only to release the audio. And when we asked for the video,
They was like, no, you can't ask for nothing. Who you think you will asking for video? Some knife wielding bandit on the subway. And then a week later, what happened? He wasn't wielding a knife. He had a machete over there in Manhattan. Was that Manhattan? A couple days ago? On the subway?
I'm Brent. And I'm Jonathan. This is Darla. And this is Buddy. We're the founders of the Farmer's Dog. We've made
Blake freaked out. Blake Neff, Blakey boy. Blakey to Neff, Neff to the Blakey. My man Blake. He freaked out. He said I was a psychopathic subway killer that was wielding a knife.
And what do you know? Didn't we just have one a couple days ago in New York? Wielding a knife? A machete. I think he got shot. I said, injuring 3 people. Fatally injuring 3 people. I'm like, oh.
I said, if I have to be that in your imagination, that's fine. Can we see the video? He said, no, we're never going to show you the video because it'll never be enough. Little too much emotion, Blake.
Yeah.
I know how to read rums. You're not acting right. Well, guess what happened after we aired that
They ain't
episode?
got no deal.
And I guess I hadn't appreciated that we had never said
Thank you for the
that
thumbs up.
happened in Aspen. Most people were assuming that happened in the Hamptons. It did not happen in the Hamptons. It happened in Aspen. So after my episode, I had another 2 donors reach out to me who were present at this Aspen event, and
Oh.
they were shocked. I guess they were watching my show, like Cabot Phillips. They're like, ajar, because while they had heard, obviously, Erica at AmFest, and she walked out to Charlie saying that they had heard her discuss that statement, they were not aware that Turning Point was making the claim that the statement occurred at that event. And they said unequivocally that did not happen.
Ooh.
Charlie never uttered those words. They were.
What was the point of even making it up in the first place? We didn't need that. We
Shocked to hear it. So I'm going to run that clip again of what they are alleging that Charlie said. Take a listen. We have a great board, and God forbid if something happens, they'll figure it out.
I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erica would do a great job.
She's very
It's them run-on sentences for me. You know it's AI when they be doing them run-on sentences. Because you know AI don't know how to pause it and periods. AI just be running through them. That's what they call run-on sentences. And that's how you know. That's how you know when it's AI. When that robot get to reading that sentence and they got it on full max and they just be running through it. God forbid. I'm like,
as you
that's
would say, appointment.
definitely
Like,
AI.
why would you have to make an appointment there? You could just discuss it. Even if you were going to say, you'd be like, you know, I think that this person will figure it out, whatever, whatever. But I appoint is so formal. It is just so formal. That right there, it turns out, might be Charlie GPT. A term, by the way, you should know was first uttered, Charlie GPT, in an interview by none other than our guy, Andrew Colvett.
Uh-oh.
He claimed after Charlie died, they had pitches from companies that wanted to create just that. Don't believe me? Take a listen to Andrew Colvett.
And at what point, I guess, at what point did it become clear to you that this was going to, that you were going to at least temporarily not fill Charlie's shoes, but take over part of his role? Because obviously, since then, you have been not alone, but you have been running the Charlie Kirk show. You are, for the moment, the voice,
Look at Candace.
the voice of Charlie Kirk.
Look at
The
Candace.
aftermath. When did that become
Look.
clear that that was something you were going to undertake?
So funny.
Yeah, and I just want to be very clear that I don't see myself as that. You know, I worked with Charlie just about every day for 8 years, and I feel like I have a Charlie GPT or something in the
Ooh.
back of my head. I mean, for truly, I hear. As long as you don't do the weird AI,
We are
thing.
not going
Yep.
to do the weird AI
Yep.
thing.
Good.
We've been pitched on that multiple times. I'm just like, guys, no, not at all.
Okay, so they've been pitched on that. Do I believe that?
Please don't do the weird Charlie AI thing. Please. Oh no, we ain't. No, I mean, we had a couple companies run it by us, but no. I went down so many rabbit holes yesterday when I logged out. Because it wasn't just Michelle and Amanda Ungaro. It was that Sam Altman.
After Charlie died, people would have been so distasteful as to rush in.
$50 billion contract. What can you do with $50 billion, bro? From the government is crazy though.
Really pitch a Charlie GPT scenario.
Uh-huh.
No, I think it's plausible that those pitches took place before Charlie died for
Ooh.
a litany of reasons. They might suggest that. I mean, I've certainly been in places where they've pitched me on like AI Candace, hologram Candace, because it helps you not have to go to so many places at once. Oh, you can have a hologram. That probably sounds more right to me. My question is, did they take someone up on their offer to create a Charlie GPT? Because
Probably
I
did.
cannot trust this enough. The donors who were in attendance in Aspen are telling me that Charlie never said this. Not only that, but they are telling me that multiple times throughout when he had an opportunity to even bring up Erica, he did not. Apparently, Erica was up in Aspen, but was not at this exact presentation when the questions were asked. There was even a smaller dinner that took place later with just about 12 people in attendance that took place after the presentation. They asked him about his future plans for Turning Point, and Erica was never mentioned. When I say they are stunned, they are stunned. They are saying, you need to pursue this further because they're lying. This did not happen at the Aspen event. It would be very easy for them to drop this video, and they want it dropped. Okay? These are donors to Turning Point USA. What can I say there?
Oh,
How evil are the implications there? Do you understand? Are you comprehending? Because I don't think I am fully comprehending.
it's fully comprehensible that they just made this up. And then, of course, you know, when you ask them about it, like, oh, y'all got the video? Well, we got the video, but we're just going to release the audio because, yeah, I don't need to see the video, but listen to the audio. Yeah, so release the video. If yeah, just release the audio.
How evil that would be. If
To
true.
just make up a lie and be like, oh, he said that. He wanted me to do this. He has said that. And then make up an audio to it. This shit right.
That they used an AI program, which Blake Neff's reaction to me, I've been around, suggests that they did because it's just so much easier. Why would you just release the audio and not the video? This is crucial. Okay, this is crucial, and I'm not going to let this go. I'm like a dog with a bone on this. Turning Point must release the video
Ooh.
and disprove the notion
Oh,
that they made this up.
oh.
Because the notion signifies that there was a plot to
Mhm.
remove Charlie and then
Ooh.
to use Charlie GPT to convince the world that it was effectively Charlie's dying wish for his wife to replace him, right? They thought, okay, well, people are not going to believe this. He's been talking about wives staying at home, so we're going to have something that convinces them that this is actually what Charlie wanted. I know it would do. We'll create a sentence that he said weeks before he died. And it's unlikely. And to add to that totally unlikely scenario, they also kept insisting immediately and through various interviews that Erica was raised by a single mother, something that is objectively untrue. We have proven that 1,000 times over. It is objectively untrue for them to even suggest that Erica was raised by a single mother.
Right.
Not true. And by the way, it's weird that she describes herself as a single mother. You would say you're a widow. Single, just totally different vibe there.
Ooh.
This feels
Ooh.
evil to me.
Ooh.
I have a troubling sense, a growing troubling sense that Charlie never said it.
Ooh.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it.
I don't think she's ever even said that word. I don't think I've ever heard her say widow.
Now being deepened further by
I
donor
don't even think does the media even say that?
with direct knowledge
Maybe
of
the
this
media
event.
said it.
And speaking of a growing and troubling sense of evil,
Mhm.
there is a relationship that is that needs to be further explained, I think, or
Okay.
further understood between
Okay.
Erica Kirk and Ben Shapiro.
Oh.
It's beginning to make me uncomfortable. It keeps presenting itself. I didn't want to see it at first. I wasn't cynical enough to see it at first. I remember early on, people were like, "Do you think he's trying to take over Turning Point USA?" And I said on my show, "No, I don't think so." But something happened during break that has changed things, I think, for me. And there's just too many coincidences adding up here. Okay. First and foremost, I have told you, I have proven to you many times over that Charlie hated Ben. Everybody knows that. Uh, Even Jeremy Boring, when he went on his like Candace tour, kind of caged his response and tried to make it sound good that the two of them did not get along when he was on Piers Morgan. That's the former CEO of Daily Wire. Erica knew this. Andrew Colvett knew this. And as I've said to you, after I was fired from Daily Wire in the beginning of 2024, Charlie took my side in a very big and public way. Ben then set to work behind the scenes, getting like the Jewish network of donors and writers to peer pressure Charlie to distance from me because of anti Semitism. Andrew admitted in that same New York Times interview that we just showed you that he effectively forced Charlie to interview Ben a few days before his death. Charlie did not like that. He was upset with Andrew, as Andrew illuminates. Then Charlie dies. A couple days later, Ben says he's going to pick up the bloody mic. Okay, fine. Maybe just poor phrasing. He then gets what behind the scenes, he gets Caleb Robinson to negotiate to have Ben on Charlie's show. Actually, they wanted to have only Matt Walsh on the show. And Caleb said, well, how about a 2-for-1 special? Andrew Colvett agreed to do that. So he inserted himself again where he was not wanted. He then went to the funeral. All of that to me was very weird. And then it got something felt off when Erica elected to have him open Amfest. I said, this is too much, right? He then is radical and instant in his demands for Megyn Kelly to say something about me, to do not look into Erica Kirk. Like he was one of the reasons that I actually looked into Erica Kirk because I thought this is very weird. Why is he's almost signaling to us that we should look into Erica. Megyn, demand you say this. Michael Knowles, even now, calling her evil, looking into the wife as a potential suspect, which is like what happens all the time in the course of any investigation. That's evil. He was too emotionally invested. And I started asking myself, is he also financially invested in some manner? He went on his show and he demanded that Erica sue me for dropping a 2-minute trailer. That was his response to the trailer. Erica should sue Candace for a trailer that just has Erica's own words in it. This is after he's been suing me for 2 years, okay, in arbitration court, so people can't read and see how mentally unstable he is and what he wants money over. Then I get a flurry of emails last week from people at Alliance Defending Freedom. Okay, massive organization. They do great work. You know, if you remember the uh, baking the cake for the gay couple, it's you know it's like a free speech organization on behalf of Christians. Okay, so they again touch some of these people and they're like, you know, Ben is working with Erica on ways to sue you. He's become suddenly very influential in Alliance Defending Freedom. So has Seth Dillon, who they helped him, Seth Dillon, at one point. And I'm like, whoa, isn't this a Christian organization? What are you talking about? Ben Shapiro is working with Erica Kirk and Turning Point with Alliance Defending Freedom. That doesn't sound right to me. And they said, Candace, I can prove it. I said, okay. And sure enough, they send me an internal video of their CEO at first just discussing the fact that they were working with Erica regarding me. So I'm gonna show you that video. This is again their CEO, no beef with her. It was just proof that what they were saying was true. Take a listen. I think the other thing I would say is just something that happened yesterday. I was on a phone call with a large organization you would know very, very well. And there's a lot of tension around who they are right now and has to do with Candace Owens, which might give you a clue of what we're talking about. And it was a moment where I was able to share all the garbage we've been through in the last 3 years and the way we've thought about decisions that we have made, whether you sue someone, how do you respond to hostility, how do you respond to persecution, how do you deal with mess, and and strategically have new leadership team, all those things. He felt so crummy when we were going through them. And yet it was a reminder that God uses all of those things for his purposes. People who lose their words mid sentence, it's not ADHD, it's untrained communication skills. How to articulate thoughts into words more clearly.
Yeah, think about what the hell she just said because it threw me off for a minute. I'm like, okay, get to the point because you're dragging it and then you got all these loops. He was talking on the phone with TPUSA and you had to name drop Candace because the fuck. And then, as proof that Daily Wire was driving this bus, they informed me that the public is not aware, but that they quietly took a board seat. This is, again, massive organization. There's only, I think, 8 board seats in total. And they showed me that in an internal presentation. I'm going to show you this, I guess, a still of that. If we have that, you guys. Caleb Robinson is the CEO of Daily Wire. Who is Caleb Robinson? That name sounds familiar. She was like how to deal with hostility and how to sue and how to deal with management change. He's now on the board of directors, so it's like, you know, almost a silent seat for Ben. I've described that as because Caleb Robinson doesn't have any legal experience, and they said that Ben was driving the bus, gunning for me through Alliance Defending Freedom. So why am I telling you this? Because this makes me uncomfortable. I don't know what his obsession is with Turning Point USA, but there is one that I think the public is becoming aware of. I'm also saying it because I have been often said to you that this organization, like the Daily Wire, has, in my view and my understanding of what gang stalking is, has been doing this since the day they fired me. It has not stopped. It's been an onslaught of my life every way, trying to stop speeches, trying to get people to say things about me, having articles written, trying to have other people reach out and go after. It has been I was fired from Daily Wire in 2024. We're in 2026. It has been over 2 years. And you're telling me they stopped personally suing me to get involved with Alliance Defending Freedom and to encourage other people to sue me, as these people are telling me? There was something that Megyn Kelly said. I don't remember who she had on her show, but she was talking about Mark Levin, and she said there is a piece of her that feels like he genuinely wants to hurt her. Like he would want harm to come to Megyn Kelly. Like if someone killed her, he would be happy.
And I watched this and I went, yes, like in my head, obviously, I said, I agree with this. And this is exactly how I feel about Ben Shapiro. I can't explain to you, but like there was an obsession here. He brought back my socials. They make videos. It has not stopped. And I just want to make sure that at every turn, this is the only, like, I feel this is the only weapon that I have back against them is to continually expose the stalking that goes on behind the scenes. There should be, by the way, an organization, if you're going to talk about Alliance Defending Freedom or people
Oh,
that are helping
okay.
Christians, there should be an organization that is dedicated to protecting employees or former employees
Read earlier.
or former contractors from this level of nonstop, consistent harassment and focus and obsession. Just fire someone. This should never be happening to you at work. But I will forever publicize so people are aware of, and obviously people have seen it. They've brought back my socials, and this is apparently going on behind the scenes. They're somehow involved with Turning Point USA and egging for them. And this person did also mention Seth Dillon. One of them mentioned Seth Dillon. The other three people at Alliance Defending Freedom all said Ben Shapiro. But yeah, it's just going on, and I just want to give a spotlight to it. So maybe we can try to go 1 month with this man leaving me alone. I highly doubt it. There is something about him that feels dangerous. And I will leave it at that. We'll be back right back after a quick break. All right, you guys, you see the headlines, you read the stories, and then the impact shows up in your own numbers. Balance is rising and fees.
That's that way. Gotta be in. So then what's that? Okay. Uh, change that. Oh, wine. Wine. This is so silly. And then what's the other one? Yeah, I got that. Okay, what's this? Is it wine? Win? WHIN, WHIN. What is that? Over here. WIN? Win? Oh, wine. Uh-oh. Caught it by accident. Sometimes you do have to do that. Look, sometimes you do have to do that. For them letters, like, God. She struggling. Look, struggling. Why is on Wi-Fi? Do- No, 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 no. Okay. Uh, uh-huh. Feel extra special with Cozy Earth's slippers. They are insanely soft, like walking on clouds, and they somehow keep my feet perfectly warm without ever feeling too heavy. It's that kind of comfort that you don't realize you need until you have it, and then you can't go back. And don't even get me started on their robes. I think spa level luxury, but in your own home. They're lightweight, breathable, and they are just so effortlessly cozy. It's the kind of robe that you will live in. With Mother's Day coming up, this is honestly one of the most thoughtful gifts that you can give, whether it's for your mom, a new mom, or just someone in your life deserves a little extra comfort. Cozy Earth pieces feel like a hug they can wear every single day. Cozy Earth stands behind their quality with a 10-year warranty and even a 100-night sleep trial, so you can try it out completely risk-free. To let this Mother's Day be a reminder that she deserves care too, discover how Cozy Earth turns Daily.
everyday
I was
routines
like,
into
what's that
moments of
LY?
softness and ease. Head to
Daily.
cozyearth.com and use my code Candace at checkout for an exclusive 20% off. If you see a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention that you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Again, that's code Candace at cozyearth.com for an exclusive 20% off.
Hey, Rebecca, this is John calling. I'm the
Hello?
founder of Earth Breeze.
You know, it's just occurred to me that I should probably state that it was not the cozy earth slipper that I slipped in. It was actually a pair that I got from the UK. And the bigger lesson of my life is that I should have listened to my husband. I don't know why. I was like, this is my size. And he said, no, UK sizes are different. If you get this slipper, it'll be way too big. And I was like, no, look at this chart. It says this is my size, as if he wasn't born and raised in London. I got the wrong size. But then because they came in, I had to just wear them because I felt extra ridiculous. I should have listened to my husband. And yeah, I've now been in this boot for 4 weeks, and he has said lessons learned the hard way. Anyway, you guys, getting into what Baron Coleman discovered. So one of the earliest stories that we broke, actually back on September 29th, to be precise, regarding Tyler Robinson's arrest. And they had insisted to us that it was known to the police that Tyler Robinson was their guy before 7 o'clock p.m. on September 11th. Okay, I'm going to show you on a timeline why that's important. The second thing that they noted to us was that Governor Cox and the police, they were lying about the clothing that he was wearing when he was brought in. It just struck them as odd that they were saying that he was wearing an outfit that he was not wearing. So we had included that little tidbit on our original timeline when the police, the Washington County Police, knew that it was Tyler Robinson, which was, again, by 7 o'clock p.m. They were all texting each other. They had said they initially had planned to pick him up in Warner Valley, but, and this part that has not come out since, that he was buying a gun. Tyler Robinson had been buying a gun, purchasing another gun.
Whoa.
But then there was some sea change, and they learned that he was coming in cooperatively. A couple of things I could say about that. There are some people that have been speculating that perhaps the plan, if we all accept that this is all Fedslop, was that Tyler Robinson was going to maybe die in a shootout thing. And this little tidbit that has never been brought forth to the public about him purchasing a gun in Warner Valley is of interest to me. But let's get into why that specific 7 o'clock p.m. timeline could be interesting. So rather amazingly, Baron Coleman was climbing through documents which were filed by Tyler Robinson's defense team. And there was something that we had completely missed. And these documents suggest that Tyler had already been Mirandized and was sitting in a police station to be interviewed at 6:25 p.m. on the 11th. And I'm going to show you that in the motion to exclude still photography. So they are making an argument as to why the media should not be trusted and they should not be allowed to come into the courts because they've lied about everything. And they talk about this moment. They are talking about a video that they have in evidence, and they're saying this timestamp at the 3 hour and 36 minute mark of the video, which shows you that it was 6:25 p.m. When this interview took place. They list this 6:25 p.m. This is a police officer saying, "So Tyler, before we begin, I'm just going to read you your rights." And he says, "Okay, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions. You have the right to have a lawyer with you during questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning begins. And if you decide to answer questions now, you can stop time."
I don't know why he did
Okay,
that.
so are you going to proceed? Because I'd love to talk to you. And Tyler comes back and says, I would like to speak with my legal counsel.
Thank
I'm
you.
hoping for a fellow in Utah named Terry. And he says, okay. And then
Shouldn't
Tyler
say.
says, I told he's a pretty good attorney here, but I think my folks are trying to get a hold of him, but I think his office is closed for the night. Okay. So it certainly sounds like this would have taken place during the evening that we know that Tyler was arrested. And I'll tell you why that's a very big deal if that was 6:25 p.m. on the 11th, because if that conversation took place in that time frame, it completely collapses the federal narrative. So let's get to that timeline so you can take a look at this of what took place on the 11th. So much has transpired, it's hard to remember. On the 11th, at first, he was this large. The FBI had a press conference at 7 a.m. where they confirmed that they found the weapon in the woods. At 7:15, Tyler Robinson is captured on camera filling up his gas. at the Maverick gas station in Cedar City. At 9:21 a.m., New York Post exclusively reveals the photo, but I also should say this was not actually Tyler Robinson's gun. They're going to tell us it was a similar weapon, which is kind of interesting when you consider the text messages where he says, "My old man recognized the gun." It's really because it wasn't the gun. It's weird. Anyways, that's when they also mentioned the fact that there were engravings on the bullets, because everybody's doing this now at shootings. They just engrave the bullets. At 9:48, the FBI Salt Lake City releases the static images. That's the now infamous images of the staircase that are way too blurry. They begin to circulate. And then we can kind of scroll down and you can see what we're told happens. And this is according to the messages, like we have the affidavits that the mother recognizes Tyler and calls him. Okay, okay. But now let's go down to 5:30 p.m. Okay, 5:30 p.m. Cash Patel and Dan Bongino arrive on the scene. At 6:17, the FBI Salt Lake City releases another round of shooter on X. Photos of him again walking up the stairs. Tyler Robinson, I should say, maybe here was already in custody. If this proves to be 6:25 p.m. on the 11th, because in order for that interview to start, we should assume he arrived at the police station before 6:17 p.m. And his questioning begins there. Again, you can find this yourself in the motion to exclude still photography, which was filed on March 30th. I can't fathom that they would be referring to the next day because he was already in custody. He had already been booked, arrested. Are we supposed to believe they never tried to speak to him until 6:25 p.m. on the 12th? That doesn't feel right to me. But they have, it seems to me, gone through excruciating lengths to never include any timestamps in anything that they have presented to the public because they seem to be making this up as they go along. At 7:00 p.m., this is what we had initially. Our source informed us that it was around this time that everyone locally began receiving text messages that they had Tyler Robinson, that they were going to pick him up in Warner Valley, which was 12 miles away from St. George. And then we have Governor Cox at 8:00 p.m., which makes this very strange because if that's true, and I believe that my source was on the money when they said that they knew it was Tyler Robinson at 7. So whether they had him in custody or they were just texting about it, they knew that they had their guy. It makes it very strange that at 8:00 p.m., Governor Cox then leads a press conference with Kash Patel and Robert Bowles, the new FBI guy they had just put in place from DC. They brought him over and put him into Utah. They're all saying, the guy's on the run. They released the video of the suspect. They released new stills. They say they're seeking help from the public to identify a suspect. That feels very strange. If in fact they had Tyler Robinson and the police officers are all messaging each other saying, "We've got the guy." Then we have Sheriff Brooksby, which we will get from a later press conference. He will say that that's when he receives the phone call from Mike Mitchell that Mike Mitchell tells him that he's trying to get Tyler Robinson to turn himself in. Everything starts getting weird. He says the phone call is less than minutes. And then Sheriff Brooksby calls the Utah County Sheriff Mike Smith to tell him about the call that he just got from Mike Mitchell. They're all excited. They tell us at 9:00 that Tyler arrives at the police station. That's according to the press conference. They're trying to track everything. Everything just falls apart. It almost feels like they're trying to fit it in to make it seem that it was in the 33rd hour that Tyler Robinson was booked. Kash Patel will later say that. They're all saying in the 33rd hour. This feels entirely fictitious to me. I have said I feel like they just wanted to say 33 hours because it seems to me like they were signaling to one another. 33. Yes, that stuff exists. Yes, Freemasonry exists. Yes, this exists globally. We just proved that a couple of weeks ago. Grant's assassin squads tied to Freemasonry. So we can stop pretending that that's a figment of anyone's imagination, least of all mine. That was something that Blake was coming hard about. You think there's, symbolism with 30. Yes, I know that there is symbolism. That symbolism is crucial to Freemasonry. I know that Freemasonic gangs exist and they carry out hits and they murder people. And if you don't know that, I would be pretty surprised, Blake. You wouldn't be so angry if you didn't know that. At 10:26, the search warrant states that Tyler Robinson arrived at Washington County Sheriff's Office with his parents. So we already have this disparity. It's good to see these timelines because once you start plotting it, you're like, wait a second. So why did Sheriff Brooks tell us that he arrived at 9? Now we hear that he arrived at 10:26. And by the way, the tape is apparently lost of when he arrived, right? The fact that, and I don't know if it's been updated since, but the fact that we are told that the video, the local Utah press attempted to get the video footage of Tyler Robinson turning himself in or walking into the police station, they were unable to secure that footage, strikes me as extraordinarily odd. But if you are tracking what is being implied here, that they're lying about everything, then they would have to remove that footage. Now, they didn't say it was deleted. They said it wasn't in their custody. You know, they're kind of never really saying anything assertively because they're making it up as they go along. But it certainly strikes me as plausible, at least plausible, very plausible, that Tyler was already in the police station and they just didn't want to say anything until the 33rd hour. So, yeah, I find all of that very interesting. And something also to remind you of is how many times they lied early on. You may have forgotten, but Governor Cox also initially told us that the messages were on Discord when they first came out. Then they changed and they said, oh, those messages that we released, they weren't on Discord, they were on iMessage. No, that's another federal change. You can listen to him say in the initial press conference, we got him, 33 hours, see you in Valhalla. You can hear Governor Cox say that the text messages were found on Discord. Take a listen.
Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits.
He said Discord. We understood Discord. We all said Discord. But then what happened was Discord themselves came out immediately and said that wasn't true. Discord gave a statement. On September 12th, they published that statement in The Hill and they said, we are deeply saddened by this tragedy. We extend our condolences to the Kirk family and everyone affected. A Discord person said in a statement, in the course of our investigation, we identified a Discord account associated with the suspect, but have found no evidence the suspect planned this incident or promoted violence on Discord.
One tiny flaw ruins most grounding shoes, but grounded footwear fixed it. You see, most grounding shoes use a single copper ring that pushed with the sole to
So they suddenly changed their minds and they said, no, this was happening via iMessage. That wasn't a mistake. He's reading from a piece of paper.
Sure.
He's reading from a piece of paper, and then the feds got caught lying, and then they altered things and they said, we always said that it was iMessages. And here's something else that's super interesting that I want to point out to you is that, Ashley, you said that in their filing, they are saying they're not going to use or present the forensic messages, right? So they're alleging they took pictures of Lance's phone of this text exchange when they brought Lance in. And they're going to show those pictures during the trial, but they're not going to actually show the forensic messages, which they would get, I'm assuming, from Apple or maybe T-Mobile or whatever. That is very strange. Okay, this actually gets to the heart of exactly what the defense has been saying. They are saying they have all this evidence, but they are not supplying us with anything concrete.
Right.
We can't see the chain of custody. We
Right.
can't see where the message was created.
Right.
If I give you a picture and I say, this is me texting with so and so. Here, I took a picture on my phone. Why would you take that and accept that that's reality? Especially when your life is on the line. No, you need the forensic messages. You need the custodial chain. You need to be able to see exactly when this message was created, and they're trying to get that. They're in discovery. They're not getting what they're asking for, and now the prosecution is explicitly saying we don't even plan to use um, the forensic text messages that we took of Lance's phone. Huh? What do you mean you don't plan to use those? What is the exact verbiage? Do we have that, Ashley, of what they said and where that was filed? I know you texted to me and I should have pulled that up and had that ready, but that's completely crazy. This is the game. They want to put on a show trial and say, well, here's the picture of Lance's phone. Lance, to me, is very obviously a federal informant. He's working
Ooh.
for and on behalf of the feds. He would be the
Ooh.
perfect person to set up Tyler Robinson.
Oh,
And don't forget, I had communication with Lance's family early on.
oh,
They said to me it was completely insane that Lance was not taken in for taken
Oh.
into custody. It was completely insane that he was uh, basically there for a couple of hours and then released back at home. That he has real issues. That he has a bend toward violence. They talked about, I communicated this to you guys early on, the things that would go on as he was raised, how they eventually had to kick him out of the house. They own the house that Tyler Robinson and Lance live in, and they are telling you that the relationship between Lance and the feds is unnatural. I presented that to you. Lance's own family is saying that.
oh,
Now their number one claim to we have evidence is Lance Twigs, but we don't know anything about Lance Twigs. He seems to have just completely disappeared. That to me reads like a federal asset.
Thank you for
Lance, that's your roommate. Okay, maybe you. I'm giving you an example here. I'm not saying this is what happened, but
Right.
maybe they catch Lance on a website,
Thank you for
kind of like
the
George Zen, right? You got him blackmailed. Here's what you're gonna do. You don't want to go to prison. You don't want to go to prison for this. Here's what you're gonna do. Your
Lance.
roommate, you're gonna get his gun. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. We're be in his room. We're gonna say that he was into trans fed stuff or fetish, whatever it is. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. You're gonna do this. That is how the feds can turn somebody into an asset. The Lance Twigs element of this makes no sense. I cannot stress that enough. Here is the verbiage of what the prosecution is saying about how they plan to use the messages. You can pull that up. With the exception of a photograph of a burnt note, which was provided on January 9th, doorbell surveillance from a single property, a DNA report regarding items found in the defendant's apartment, and tool marks report. Each of the witnesses and exhibits have been known to the defense for at least 6 months before the preliminary hearing. Most of the evidence to be presented at the preliminary hearing, including the DNA report regarding the rifle found at the scene, was provided to the defense in October of 2025. The state does not intend to offer evidence obtained through forensic extractions of electronics seized in this case. So again, getting up to this preliminary hearing, this is why Tyler Robinson's defense was up in arms. They're like, they're just going to put on a show trial and show you guys pictures, but we can't prove whether or not these messages are real. And they're admitting we do not intend to offer evidence obtained through forensic extractions of electronics seized in this case. It does, however, intend to offer 2 exhibits, which used cameras to record the contents of text messages. So we're going to show you our recording of Lance's phone, but we're not going to present any forensic evidence that what we showed you is real.
Not even any forensic reports from Lance's phone directly. Are we just gonna show you the picture that we took off of his phone?
This is unbelievably problematic. It's a setup. Okay. This is a setup. Tyler is a patsy. I maintain that. And they're not going to get away with it because I will read through every doc and I will find everything. I will organize it. I will do timelines. You just don't get to assassinate Charlie Kirk in broad daylight and create Charlie GPT to try to make us forget about it and think that I'm not going to be on your case. Doesn't work like that. Anyway, I think we are. Oh my gosh, we are over time, and I did not even get to Trump going after the Pope. Okay, we'll take a brief break, and we'll be right back. Sorry, guys. I just think that we are. All right, you guys, have you heard about this $17 million fraud scheme that targets elderly homes?
She's so funny. You just gotta love it. It just got to love it, girl.
I hate to break it to you, but you probably do. This is a mattress vacuum. It sucks up and unalives everything that a regular vacuum leaves behind. The ring starts out as blue, and when it detects mites, it will turn to red. Once that ring goes back to blue, then you know you're good to move to the next spot. But I decided to try this on my dog's favorite spot on our rug, and I'm not kidding you, it sat on red for like at least a minute, which has never happened before. These vacuums use tapping to loosen and suction up dust, mites, and allergens. Whatever it
I
can't
like
dislodge
that.
with the tapping, it will unalive through UVC light and heat. Right here is where you're gonna find the UVC light, and then down here it's hot air up to 150 degrees. Rest assured, if it didn't suck it up, it at least unalived it for you. 3 out of 4 homes in the United States have
Ooh.
mites in their house, and if you have a dog, it's almost a given. If you need to get rid of the
Let's see how much it costs. I like it. I was just look 50% off. June. Oh, she must be expensive. Let's take a guess and see how much it's gonna cost. $4.99. $499.99. That's my guess. And she's talking about 50% off. 50% off? Child, she $4.99. She might be $5.99, but I'm gonna go $4.99. Okay. 30 days ago. Feels sturdy and well built. Triple filtration system keeps dust from blowing back into the air. Nice. And the container is easy to empty. Okay. It's become an essential tool for keeping beds and furniture fresh and clean. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I was trying to clean my little sofa. It's a nice sofa. It was uh Cindy Crawford. I just wanted to see how much it costs. I'm not in I mean, unless she PayPal or something. That's probably the only way I'd be able to get a PayPal. Let me see. Oh, oh, I stand corrected. Now, if you trying to get a three piece, we was very close. Ah, look, my girl on there. PayPal. Oh, she got Klarna. I've never used Klarna. I've never used the firm. Ain't no need. You know what they need to have? They need to have split pay. Like, oh, do you want to charge this card? And then how much you want to put on this card? How much you want to put in your American Express? I'm like, I got two American Express, so I can put like, I can put a little Visa. Then I can put some on, they can let me split pay. They talking about a three piece. Like if you want, okay, that's not bad for $100. That's not bad for $100. I'ma just put that out there. I like that. Let me send it to myself just in case I want to swing back by. That's not bad. Um, let me see if who could send that to myself real quick, like. Hold on, let me see. Okay, okay. Somebody should have got that real quick. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I need it just in case I want to swing back by. All right.
slash Owens. I don't want to rush through the Pope segment, so I'm almost thinking I should bump it to tomorrow. I mean, you guys obviously know my perspective. Trump is very clearly under demonic influence. I think Paula White probably put a spell on him of some sort. I mean, he is surrounded by, ironically, the very thing that he accuses me and Megan and Tucker of being, because we're calling for peace. We're calling for peace, and he's like, these people are nut jobs. And then he has people like Laura Loomer, who has been forcibly placed on Site 5150 holds as his number one advisor. She's like, I'm advising him. You got Paula White, who's telling him he's akin to Jesus Christ, which is absolutely blasphemous. And he thinks these people are totally sane. Again, very scary to be that far in the cave. He is so in the cave. He is so convinced of his own invincibility. It is completely
Hold on.
unhinged that he was deeply upset by the Pope telling him the truth. The Catholic perspective
trying to.
is that this is an unjust war because it is, obviously. Okay, you can't just decide that you want to take things from Iran, or rather, not decide, but Bibi tells you you're going to take things from Iran, and then you just do it and you put American lives at risk. It's unjust. Even honestly, if you remove Catholicism, it's just unjust in general. It's morally contemptible what you are doing in the Middle East. Okay, and forget the part that you went against every single one of your promises, betrayed your base, betrayed the people that were out there trying to get votes for you, betrayed the Charlie Kirk, you betrayed
Oh,
Megyn Kelly, you betrayed Tucker
oh,
Carlson,
oh,
you betrayed me.
yeah.
I just, could not care less. I am very happy to die with my soul intact.
Oh,
And now you have him just swinging at the Pope. Swinging at the Pope. This is what he said on X, and his excuse is amazing. He said Pope Leo is weak on crime. Like, this is not a tweet. We're not talking about Hillary Clinton. Okay, he's talking about the Pope. He's not running against the Pope. Pope Leo is weak on crime, terrible for foreign policy. He talks about fear of the Trump administration, but doesn't mention the fear that the Catholic Church and all other Christian organizations had during COVID. What? When they were arresting priests, ministers, and everybody else. Why would he talk about that? That's not happening right now. What? He wants him to get into a time machine and talk about what's going on in 2021. Okay. He goes on. I like his brother Lewis much better than I like him. Oh, okay. Because Lewis is all MAGA. He gets it, and Leo doesn't. I don't want a pope who thinks it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon for the last 25 years, according to Bibi Netanyahu. I don't want a pope who thinks it's terrible that America attacked Venezuela, a country that was sending massive amounts of drugs into the United States, and even worse, emptying their prisons, including murderers, drug dealers, and killers into our country. And I don't want a pope who criticizes the president of the United States because I'm doing exactly what I was elected in a landslide to do, setting record low numbers in crime and creating the greatest stock market in history. Leo should be thankful because, as everyone knows, he was a shocking surprise. He was not on any list to be pope and was only put there by the church because he was an American, and they thought that that would be the best way to deal with President Donald J. Trump. If I wasn't in the White House, Leo wouldn't be in the Vatican.
Oh,
I'm sorry. What?
oh.
Look, I'm not here to pretend that I'm a theologian, that
No,
I've been
right.
Catholic for a long time, but is that what goes on at conclave? Do the cardinals arrive and they go, oh, well, we were going to do our thing, but like what really matters is Trump's president. We want to make sure that we can deal with Trump. So we're just going to make somebody from Chicago. That feels like the right thing. He's got a Trump Tower in Chicago. Like, is that what he thinks happened? That he had all of these cardinals arrive, and this was the discussion as people waited for white smoke outside, that is what was happening on the inside. You cannot be that narcissistic.
The nerve.
Can you?
You can. Obviously.
The
Look,
police
like,
officer
obviously, the nerve.
into me after my car accident.
You wouldn't
I
even
took his
be the
advice
Pope
and
if I went,
$100,000
hey,
for
settle
my
down,
accident
settle
without suing,
down.
without going to
Settle
court.
down, sir. Sheesh.
I think he is. I think that's what Laura Loomer said to him. I think that is, she texted him and she's telling the truth, and she's like, he wouldn't even be Pope if it wasn't for you. She's like been very borderline lately. Like, she's like, feels like she should probably be put on another hold, but like she's still out there tweeting crazy things. And I feel like that's what Paula White said to him, like in a couple of her blasphemous prayers of like, she's like, the Catholic Church should thank you for Pope Leo the 14th. What? Is everybody okay? No one around him is okay. And I'm making fun of it, but I want to be clear that he is truly, and I do not say this to be extra, I do not say this to be performative, he is truly under demonic influence. You see that in the prayers, and I have to say respectfully, it was definitely something, which I am hopeful, and please forgive me if I'm out of line here, but I'm hopeful that more cardinals, more princes of the church will speak out against the role that some of our bishops have had in this. I think some of them have gone too political. Bishop Barron standing beside Paula White during that prayer, and his excuse is, "Well, I was there." Well, then you should make a statement after and say, "This is wrong. This is wrong. I didn't mean to be. I didn't know what she was going to say when she prayed, but what she said was wrong, and it was blasphemous. And no, Trump. This is Easter, and Trump has nothing to do. He is nothing like Jesus Christ. In fact, Trump is not even a Christian." And so there is a role here that I think the Catholic Church should step in a really big way. I think there are too many TV bishops, too many TV pastors, too many people that have turned what it means to be a Christian into reality TV. Frankly, you can wear the clerical robes and be presenting yourself as something totally different. There needs to be and there has been thus far a very severe reaction, just all across the faith. Everybody, every Catholic bishop, every Catholic cardinal, but Catholics in general. You can't support Trump. You cannot support Trump in this moment. And I have to say, His Holiness was very precise in how he responded to the attacks. If we could just pull up that video of what he had to say, take a listen.
I basically said that the message of the church, my message, the message of the gospel, blessed are the peacemakers. I do not look at my role as being politician. I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing.
Ooh.
And I will continue to speak out loud against war, looking to promote peace, promoting dialogue and multilateral relationships among the states to look for just solutions to the problems. Too many people are suffering in the world today. Too many innocent people are being killed. And I think someone has to stand up and say, there's a better way to do this.
Perfectly
Now let's
said.
cut to what Trump had to say when he was asked about why he attacked the Pope. Take a listen.
Pope Leo on Truth Social.
Oh,
I don't think he's doing a very good job. He likes crime, I guess. He hit us. Think of it. He's worried about fear. What about the fear when the ministers and the priests and all of those great people that were arrested during COVID, and in many cases they're outside 10 feet apart, and they were arrested. So we don't like it. We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime. He's a man that doesn't think that we should be toying with a country that wants a nuclear weapon so they can blow up the world. I'm not a fan of Pope Leo.
Guess what? He's literally trying to stop crime because what you are doing in the Middle East is criminal. Everybody is telling you that. You've lost a large portion of your base. You have lost Maha. You've lost Megyn Kelly. You've lost B. You've lost Alex Jones. You've lost, and that's just in terms of the commentariat, if you will.
right.
And you refuse to see reality. You just refuse to see reality. You're so convinced that you can just drop another tweet. And of course, he then dropped a picture of himself as Jesus Christ on top of that. And got even backlash from the Protestants who said this is completely inappropriate. And his response, this is the image, by the way, if you have not seen it, obviously, healing the sick. And his response,
It's them. Let me go back to it, child.
of himself as Jesus Christ on top of that.
Child, you got to see who's in the cloud.
Even backlash from the Protestants who said this is
Look who's in the clouds. Child, you tripping. What are you talking about? How you? Oh my goodness, Jesus Christ.
inappropriate. And his response, this is the image, by the way, if you have not seen it, obviously, healing the sick. And his response
Right,
to dropping that
right.
was that he didn't realize that that was supposed to be Jesus, and that he thought that the AI image was suggesting that he is a healer and a doctor.
See, that's how you know he don't know no damn Jesus. You don't even know a depiction.
He is a doctor in his own mind. That's his excuse
That's
for
crazy.
just continuing to be so disrespectful to
Right.
Christians.
Right.
He offered, as opposed to just saying, "I'm sorry."
Right.
This
He couldn't even
animation is
say
not
I'm sorry.
appropriate. It went out. People were not thinking. Thought
Right.
it was funny. Poor taste. He came out with an excuse that he thought he was
Oh,
a
he was like,
doctor. Take a
oh, I
listen.
thought I was. Look.
Post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ. Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor.
Why he sounded a little British? I did post it.
Branch
Sounded a little British there. I did post it.
for the working human.
When I tell you, I have to get me one of these little computer stands. Not just for me. I probably need to get one for everybody, but that's gonna be my little next investment for sure. Get me one of those little computer stands. I like them. They're pretty inexpensive too.
Ergonomic adjustment and lumbar support, all for a price that's
She look nice.
humane. Branch wildly ergonomic.
She just don't have no back support. Like I need a little bit more cushion on the back. I need a little bit more cushion on this ergonomic neck support. Like I understand if I can see through it, that ain't nothing. If I can see through this chair and I can see out the window, if I can see that desk, all that, I don't need to see none of that. All this should be the same material down here. Put that there and there. Uh-huh. And matter of fact, cause you don't have none of this here. Where is your armrest support? No, ma'am. No, I'll pass. Ergonomics my ass. Uh-uh. Uh-uh.
What would you tell a
Don't
man
even
who
ever.
can scroll for hours but can't work for 10 minutes and hates
Like,
himself for it every night?
where's the
And had to do with Red Cross. There's a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So
no, sir, you posted the picture.
I just heard about it. And I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better.
Well,
And
then you should have had on the white coat, not the Jesus robe and the satchel
people,
or whatever that was that he had on. Uh-oh. Right. Right.
He thought he was a Red Cross doctor.
That's
So that's why he posted it, because like obviously he was what year was that, Ashley, that he was a doctor, Skylar? Sorry, I just need to produce a note. Could can we ask Charlie GPT? Okay, when did he? Wow, where it's not coming up for us that Trump was ever a doctor. So I don't know why he would feel that the image was relating to him
as a
as a doctor for
Right.
Red Cross healing the sick. That
Right.
seems, and wearing that particular getup doesn't feel to me like he was a Red Cross doctor. But that's the slop we're getting. It's been a sloppy year, my friends. It's been a fetty sloppy year.
I'm talking about, and it's only
We're just gonna
April.
keep getting it. We're just gonna keep getting it. Anyways, let's get to some comments before I leave. We have Kimberly Wood. These are the top comments from last episode. Kimberly Wood writes, "Charlie died free. You will die a slave." Quoting me. That hit hard, man. It is the reality. And slavery is a choice. And people laughed when Kanye said that, but I hope people aren't laughing anymore. Because to have those restrictions, to do those things, and to be made a mockery. What is all the wealth and buildings and names when people have this perception of you as unable to just make your own day-to-day decisions? The next person wrote, Candace has presented more evidence that Brigitte is a man than Trump has presented that Iran is a threat to the USA. Think about that. Yeah, it's actually crazy that you keep saying Iran is a threat to the USA. You presented no evidence. I have done almost 2 seasons producing. Xavier Bouchard spent 8 years in that book. Maybe you should read it. But whatever. Everyone's allowed to have a type, and your type is Brigitte Macron. It's fine. If you think you can make fetch happen, Gretchen, you go for it. Also remind you guys, best way to support our show, we have new merch on the website, fun merch on the website. I'm really loving the new, it really says Make America Christian Again hat, but it looks like it says MAGA because we have the crucifix there, which is, I love the green color too. It's really beautiful. A nice Christmas green. And I also love our mug. Actually, to me, the First Lady of France is far more beautiful woman than Candace. A foreign policy statement. Can I get one of those? I gotta get. That's the mug that I would like to drink my water out of on the show. And if you just would like to get a bumper sticker for your car, well, we have a beautiful one. We have a beautiful bumper sticker. It's not even close. The other bumper stickers, it's not even close. This is the face that launched 0 ships. And there it is, right there. So beautiful. Trumpy loves Brigitte. Obviously, nut jobs and troublemakers for peace. Apparently, that makes you a nut job. So we have those caps. Go through. It's the best way to support us. Obviously, independent journalism, and we will forever be independent. We just love it. It is. Oh, and you asked for our Battle Bun activated merch. I forgot to tell you, we got it. You demanded, and we acquiesced, as we always do. Reminding you, actually telling
The
you,
charcoal
book
is
clubs will be
nice.
on Friday. I did not appreciate that we had an open Friday, and it just made more sense to make it on Friday to bump it.
On Monday.
So yeah, that will be on Friday to make up for it. And thank you guys for your patience. We only have 2 more meetings for this book, so this Friday and then one more, and we'll be done. And then the next book we're going to read is my book. So I'm super excited about that. Make him a sandwich. So buy that ahead of time if you guys want to jump in and join the book club. The next book we're going to read is Make Him a Sandwich, which I have just been very happy about. I might be a little biased, but I think the author's great. And that is that's a signed copy. You can also buy regular copies on Amazon. And yeah. Anyway, you guys, some of your comments. Did I just read? No, I just read the comments from yesterday. A few before we
Friday.
go. Flame of Love Carmel, thank you, by the way, for that massive tip. Writes, never thought it would be Trump and Netanyahu to bring Protestants and Catholics back together. To Trump, watching a gold chain is still a chain. Love that. A gold chain is still a chain indeed. Yeah. And yeah, like I said, Protestants got into the mix and we're like, okay, yeah, this is crazy. You are crazy, except for Paula White, because she, like I said, probably authored the tweet, for being honest. Jess Happy writes, Battle Bun activated. You have never been more beautiful inside and out. Truth is everything. Thank you for being bold. Christ is king indeed. Thank you guys for being just as bold. And also just thank you for, I think we're all just doing something really different. Like I said, just the collaboration that's happening with this Charlie investigation. It makes me so happy still, like, when I just think about the fact that they thought that everyone would move on from Charlie after, oh, look, we're putting on a big show and all these politicians are here.
Right.
And Erica says, I forgive him. And they just never bet on us being this
Candace.
focused and this committed to every aspect of
Yeah.
the case, all the independent creators. And I just,
They say
Y'all
higher
gotta give,
education is outdated.
y'all gotta give a shout out to that Baron. Niecy, everybody putting in that leg work.
is he is seeing that, and to know that he is still a trending topic, like it has not gone away, just means like that's the best influence I think that he could have had in his life. And that is like, I just feel like that's the kind of love that you want, truly, and to
For
have
sure.
really made a difference. So thank you guys for your focus
Don't
and
cry.
you guys caring about us getting to the truth of what happened on September
Don't
10th.
cry, sugar booger.
We're not getting it. Chloe writes, we need to know who asked Charlie who he'd want to replace him if something happened to him. I will get to the bottom of that.
Ooh.
I know who was at that event now.
Ooh.
I'm working on that.
Ooh.
Like I said, I'm always have background investigations going on, and I'm dead focused on that.
Ooh.
Christina Schwetz writes, praying the protection of St. Michael over all truth tellers. The darkness cannot hide from the light long. The demons are squealing. Christ is king. Jesus loves you all. Thank you. St. Michael prayer works. I'm also keeping a novena right now, a Marian novena that I have to do every night until Christmas. So it's actually kind of now just become a part of my repertoire. CC Zag writes, so if her only motive was to make sure Charlie's vision would keep going, but they have yet to do any prove me wrong events, not a single live debate since, I'm sure Charlie would say she's been an epic failure across all boards. Yes. And even in the events that she's doing, they're faking the question and answer segment. Like they're pre-planned. I've seen people doing videos about that. We have received emails. It's all like to create the illusion of speech, but there actually isn't any speech. And yes, they have reversed course on all of his perspectives and they continue to gaslight us about it. So anyways, long Monday, I had a lot to say. I was off air for a long time. We will continue to drive home a narrative. Super interesting stuff that we have unpacked over the last week that I cannot wait to present to you all. Yeah, I guess we will see you tomorrow.
And I'm gonna be here for it too. My little Candace girl. I love that Candace. I love that doggone Candace. Go, Niecy, please. Oh,
Robinson did it, or did he? At least that's what we've been told. The perfect suspect, the perfect evidence, the perfect story. Even
how is he the perfect suspect? Because she dropped this 2 hours ago. Technically, she woke. When I saw it, it was 47 minutes.
Erica Kirk forgave him before allowing the trial to play out.
forgive him.
All of this seems so
Go
convenient, right? Except for a few little details that poke holes in the official narrative. The
ahead.
timeline, the text, and statements from law enforcement all have gaps in them. And in today's video, we're diving into the gaps, the inconsistencies, and the moments that make you go,
It just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit.
Man, that Bill Nye was so clutch. What time did he come on? Like 3:34, I believe. But we got out at 3, so I think it was like 4, if I'm not mistaken. Like, what's it for? It was so.
hello, everyone. If you're a new viewer,
So the reason why I keep scratching my nose, I know, I've been blowing my nose so much. You know, you get that scarring under your nose and stuff, and so I've been putting cream under it. You can see it. And so when I put the cream on it, what happens is the scarring, it releases the scarring, and you can rub the scarring away to obviously promote new skin growth under the nose once and I'm saying the scarring because like we're talking about just the constant blowing and what is it they call it? What do they call it? That contact, that fabric contact when you're blowing your nose with different fabrics and materials and stuff, not tissue, of course not. Rags, shirts, pillowcase, anything close by. Just you're gonna get this blow. So you just kind of get that irritation under your nose, and so I have to like put cream on it to like I said, obviously to heal the scar.
if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If this is your second, third, or fourth time watching one of my videos and you're not yet subscribed, we already go together. Okay, make it official and hit that subscribe button. There's a lot to go over in today's video, and today I'm feeling especially energized because of a new product that I have been using, Black Forest Supplements High Flavanol Cocoa. This is the bone marrow hack that may make those $50,000 stem cell injections look obsolete. Your bone marrow holds millions of stem cells, and this powder can help set them free. Instead of sitting in your bones doing nothing, they finally get moving. A Harvard researcher discovered that cocoa flavanols work like a jailbreak. Stem cells burst into your bloodstream looking for places to support sore joints, your heart, even mental clarity. While people pay 50 grand for foreign stem cells, this helps activate your own. No injection, and no trips to Mexico. Dr. Simon Mills, one of the top herbal medicine researchers in the world, said this about cocoa.
One of the best medicines around is 50 grams, 100 grams of 75% or more dark chocolate. Brain health as well, cardiovascular health. They do studies where they've put cocoa into volunteers, that means students usually, and they were able to show changes in the blood flow within minutes, certainly within an hour.
Vaginal suppositories. Never out of 10. It's like putting chapstick on your forehead and hoping that it reaches your lips.
Eating cocoa.
That's right, dark chocolate. But here's the catch: the flavanols, the only part that matters, they get destroyed during processing. So hot chocolate, useless. Black Forest Cocoa takes the finest cocoa and extracts the flavanols into a 1,200 milligram clinical dose. Those flavanols are what activate your stem cells, and it's made in the USA. Black Forest Supplements is doing a buy one, get one for 48 hours. Go to blackforestsupplements.com/social to take advantage of this offer. The case against Tyler Robinson has some serious holes in it, and in no way am I saying that he's innocent, but what I am saying is that
I suspect foul play.
many of you who have been following this case closely already know a lot about the details, and so I'm going to say some things that you've probably already heard,
Sure.
but there are also definitely going to be things that you haven't heard or haven't considered yet, and
Okay.
things that were overlooked in the beginning, but in
Oh,
retrospect.
whoa. What is was that the accident, the car accident video? Okay, shout out to Tropical Cafe. I
Significant
see you in a bit.
clean photo that Candace got a hold of. I noticed something that I haven't seen anyone else point out. A detail that got lost in all the reporting is that allegedly, after the shooting, Tyler Robinson made contact with a police officer. Here is an article from Fox News. Quote, Tyler Robinson's suspected path shows him entering and exiting campus at different points before he made contact with a police officer standing guard after the assassination of Charlie Kirk on September 10th, in an encounter that places him at Utah Valley University without relying on cell phone records, according to court documents. The article also says, hours after the shooting, an officer standing watch over the perimeter made contact with Robinson nearby. He allegedly told the officer he needed to get something from near the garage, according to the source. That wasn't deemed suspicious at the time because hundreds of people had fled in a panic after the shooting, and many of them left belongings behind. But the officer did a routine check on Robinson's plate, which investigators saw in the system later once they had identified him as a potential suspect, placing him in the area the source said. So this, of course, is interesting.
Who's the
article
source?
can definitively place Tyler Robinson at the scene. No cell phone records needed because near the campus, an officer made contact with him. So what time was the contact made?
Ooh.
And where specifically did it happen?
Ooh.
Well, I had to read 3 separate Fox News articles to piece together the story
Ooh.
because rather than just state it plainly in one article, they breadcrumbed it across 3 separate articles. So in
Ooh.
one article, it says that the encounter happened near where the investigators recovered the alleged murder weapon that was wrapped in the towel in the woods at the edge of campus. And in a third article, they tell you what time it happened, which was around 6:30 p.m. So, around 6:30 p.m., Tyler Robinson made contact with a law enforcement officer near where the weapon was found. And for reference, here is a map that shows you where the weapon was found. So the contact happened in that area. Well, there's a problem. If Candace's source is accurate, that Tyler Robinson couldn't have been there around 6:30 p.m. because apparently he was at the Dairy Queen in Orem. Allegedly taken, I'll say allegedly for safety here, but it's looking right according to my timeline, allegedly taken at 6:38 p.m. at a nearby Dairy Queen. Here is that photo that we can show you. So apparently, Tyler drove 10 to 15 minutes from Utah Valley University to the Dairy Queen, parked his car, walked inside, possibly waited in line, ordered his food, paid for his food, then began eating his ice cream while simultaneously making contact with that officer near the wooded area. Both things cannot be true at the same time. Someone has given incorrect information. The question is who? I would love to see the body cam footage of this encounter if it exists. And that's a big if because we already know that footage has already gone missing mysteriously. On September 17th, 2025, Washington County Sheriff Nate Brooksby held a press conference. Our job was not to interview, our job was just to get him here. After Charlie Kirk's alleged shooter was taken into custody in Washington County less than 2 days after the shooting. Within the hour, my friend drove Tyler and his parents to my office where he was greeted
Did he just
plainclothes detective.
resign?
I submitted a public records request to obtain any video of Tyler Robinson walking into the jail facility. Washington County responded saying there were no records responsive to the request as Robinson did not go to the jail area. Our request for any holding room video was denied.
Ooh.
A few weeks later, I re-upped the request on a more generalized scale for a surveillance video showing Tyler Robinson walking into the sheriff's office. For the state of Utah, we would certainly hope that this video is available. The response? Our office does not have any applicable records responsive to this request, as the surveillance footage is no longer available after the 30-day retention period. If in fact it has been destroyed and not preserved, it's very concerning. And if it has, then it's very concerning that they're telling you they don't have it. If they no longer have it, I would have expected to say that this video has been provided to the Utah County law enforcement. Please contact them. But instead, this rhetoric leads, in my opinion, as trying to shut the door and not give you free access to the press. Well, it's not clear if the video exists and was just handed over to another agency. In a response to me, Washington County shared with me they don't believe the video was shared with anyone involved in the case. So the footage of Tyler Robinson turning himself in is missing. That is a huge hole in this case. If that evidence exists, Why wasn't it preserved? And there are tons of reasons to want to see that footage along with the audio. The Washington County Sheriff Nate Brooksby, who recently resigned, made contradictory statements about what happened the evening that Tyler Robinson was turned into the police station. Nate Brooksby said that Tyler Robinson's parents recognized the weapon in the photos released by the FBI as his grandfather's World War I gun.
It
They
ain't.
believed that these images of the person of interest resembled Tyler,
Right.
and so they contacted Tyler about it. According to Nate Brooksby, during the phone conversation between Tyler Robinson and his parents, Tyler indicated that he was going to end it all.
During that phone call, some information was provided about Tyler potentially having some suicide ideations, was en route to a remote area of Washington County. The parents convinced him not to do that and, conveyed that they would, stand by him and help him surrender peacefully.
Despite allegedly being willing to take his own life, he was also simultaneously afraid of being shot by.
Really? Pick any six out
See what I mean?
and send them
They
back.
just can't even keep the story straight.
The April 15th tax deadline is coming, and your tax refund is a few steps away with TurboTax.
They can't even keep the damn story
The
straight.
police?
Tyler knew it was just inevitable with all the law enforcement pressure that his picture in the news, the gun on the news. He knew it was inevitable that he would be caught. He was fearful of a SWAT team hit on his house, or he was fearful of being shot by law enforcement. So part of the negotiation and getting him to bring himself in was that we would treat it as delicate and as soft as possible.
Those statements are contradictory.
Uh-huh.
Did he want to end it all or not? I'm just saying. So, a family friend who is a retired law enforcement officer gets involved in this as well.
So I get a call from my friend. He's been retired a few years. We'll call each other. It's not unusual for me to get a call from him or vice versa. He said, "Hey, I know who Charlie Kirk Shooter is. I know the family through religious association. My friend drove Tyler and his parents to my office, where he was greeted by plainclothes detectives. What time did he get here? Just before 9 p.m.
So, just before 9 p.m., Tyler Robinson is en route to the police station. I have been trying to find out exactly what time he got there, but that information has not been made public. And I think it's important to know what time he arrived because at 8:57 p.m., he allegedly sent this message in Discord. Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this. I'm surrendering to a sheriff friend in a few moments. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You'll all be so amazing. Thank you all for everything. That message sounds exactly like how a 22-year-old would talk. So I would like to know, where exactly was Tyler Robinson when he sent that message? Because according to Nate Brooksby, Tyler Robinson arrived at the police station around 9 o'clock. That message was sent around 9 o'clock. So was he in the car on the way there, or was he already there at the police station? Is that the reason that the footage is missing? Was he coerced into sending that message by law enforcement? Did someone else who had access to his phone send that message while at the police station? I think these are fair questions to ask, given the timing of the messages, and given the fact that the police didn't preserve any footage from this event, and given the fact that who the talks like that? Like who? Just want to let you guys know I did it. I'm sorry, and I think you guys will be great. I think you guys will be great, but I'm gonna go to prison now. Bye. Like who the talks like that? No one. There is one last thing that I want to point out. Going back to the charging documents that contain those messages between Lance Twiggs and Tyler Robinson, the messages that nobody is buying, not even Crystal Ball.
I think it's very reasonable that people are looking at this and going, this is a way a 22-year-old text. Okay.
All the normies agree that these text messages with no timestamps seem inauthentic. I have previously pointed out the contradiction where Tyler Robinson, through text message, instructs Lance Twiggs to look for a note underneath a keyboard, and on the note is conveniently a handwritten confession. And then a few minutes later, he texts Lance saying, I planned to take the secret to the grave. Oh dear, oh me, oh my, I was never going to tell you. Okay, then Why did you confess on a handwritten note and put it under the keyboard if you were never going to confess to doing this? If you were never going to tell Lance Twigs? If it was supposed to be a secret forever, why the would you write it on a piece of paper proactively and then leave it somewhere and then tell him to go read it? It doesn't fucking make sense. But aside from that ridiculous contradiction, the FBI says they don't have possession of the handwritten note. They say they saw a photo of it and the original was destroyed, and they are using the photo as evidence. In the text messages, he confesses to everything, okay? He even talks about the towel, he even talks about the towel. Talks about the towel, he talks about the gun, about where he put his clothes, about changing his clothes. He talks about everything, confesses to everything. And then he never mentioned screwdriver. I'm just saying, this screwdriver detail really bothers me because I really think they planted that evidence. They didn't mention the screwdriver at all in the charging document. The first time the screwdriver is publicly discussed at all is 5 days after the shooting on September 15th, 2025. Why is this important?
Somebody's calling me. Let me see if it's for real. Yep, it's for real. Hold on. I'll be back. Let me go and check on the big man. I didn't think I was gonna make it back. I didn't think I was gonna make it back. Lord have mercy. Except as soon as I hit it, right? So as I hit that door open. It's possible. I didn't think I was gonna make it back. Trying to extend the middle. And the bathroom breaks. Be so serious. I don't have no complaints. I'm like, use the bathroom, go back to sleep.
This screwdriver is one of the pieces of evidence that they are using to say that Tyler Robinson
gun.
was at the scene of the crime.
The gun.
They are alleging that once Tyler got on the roof, he used the screwdriver to assemble the gun.
Right.
And they say they found the screwdriver on the roof, and they say that his DNA is on the screwdriver.
Right.
Why wasn't this very important piece of evidence not mentioned at all in the charge documents? But yes, Homeboy allegedly confesses to everything, and
Right.
everyone was just wrapped up in how the messages sound that there was one line that was overlooked. So in these text messages, Lance Twig, Tyler's boyfriend, says, I thought they caught the person. And supposedly Tyler Robinson replies, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated some in similar clothing. We all know the crazy old dude was George Zinn, but who was the person in similar clothing? The only other person that was arrested that day was Zachariah Qureshi. At 4:21 p.m. Utah time, Kash Patel had tweeted that they had a suspect in custody, and we later learned that that was Zachariah. However, they never said anything about what Zachariah Qureshi was wearing. None of the articles about the incident ever mentioned what Zachariah Qureshi was.
Ooh, good catch, Niecy. Good catch. Similar clothing.
And as a matter of fact, the reason he was arrested is not because he was wearing similar clothing. No photos of the person of interest had even been released at that time.
Right.
That happened the next day. The police detained Zachariah Qureshi because he was going from hospital to hospital
Asking.
looking for Charlie Kirk, and the hospital staff that called the police. That is why he was a person of interest, not because he matched a description. There wasn't like even a description at the time. The only physical description of Zachariah Qureshi that I could find was this police radio audio. That and a black man, possibly carrying a rifle, Toyota Corolla, zeros probably not. Suspect possible name Zachariah Qureshi, number 512 of 2000. So, was Tyler Robinson listening to the police radio? Did the police manufacture these text messages and accidentally tell on themselves? Or is it just that Tyler Robinson had made? Did he just assume that the other person that they had arrested, they had picked him up?
You know what really has me, right? This is what has me. Right? Now, we know how to, even with like X, right? And how they had with Amanda, how they screen grabbed it and then they'll just scroll. You know, you can just screenshot it and then it's this roommate Robinson. Roommate Robinson.
Identical clothing. I don't know.
No text messages. This is just a PDF Word document that somebody typed up. Roommate Robinson. What a text message is that?
Just pointing this out to you guys. What prompted me to make this video was the big news that came out recently that the bullet recovered from Charlie Kirk's body cannot conclusively be tied to the weapon the feds accused Tyler Robinson of using to commit this crime. This, of course, is huge. If they can't definitively tie that bullet to that gun, then they can't for sure say that that was the weapon used to kill Charlie. So that's a huge gap in the investigation. investigation. Anyways, that is all I have for this video. If you liked it, please don't
I
forget
like
to hit
that.
that like
Sorry.
button. If you are not yet subscribed, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to check out the sponsor of today's video, Black Force Supplements. To get buy one get free, go to blackforcesupplements.com.
Hey, he back up with that again.
This deal is for 48 hours only.
Goodness
If you like this
gracious.
video and you'd like to see more like it, I will have 2 more videos for you in the ending. Take care. Bye.
I'm finna get ready to go over here to TK. Let me see, because I ain't seen TK in a minute. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, part 1. Welcome back. Hey, yeah, look at
Back to Vlad TV. What's up, Vlad? What's up, man? It's good to see you.
always.
It's been a minute, but we've been
I
hanging out.
said that.
I went to your show. Yeah. Over in Virginia, ladies and gentlemen. Virginia. That's right. We the ones coming. Yeah, it was nice. Hanging out backstage with everybody. Yes, sir. Great time. Great time. You're a good friend, good businessman. All the above.
All the above.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well,
Get
we
into
cannot
it.
start this conversation off without talking about the Pooh Shiesty Gucci Mane robbery.
That was crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
He's so messy.
So
You
here's
know,
the
Vlad, be ready to get into some mix.
story. Pooh Shiesty signed a Gucci Mane. I think back in like 2021. Okay. Started to take off as an artist.
Okay.
Got caught up with some sort of shooting incident or something like that. Got 5 years in the feds. Came out.
Just got out.
After doing
Don't say got out. Say just got out, Vlad.
3 years. Dropped the first day out. Freestyle. Song blew up.
Ain't even heard it.
Huge money coming in. But apparently he was upset over the deal that he had signed with Gucci. Okay.
Okay.
So.
Classic.
And I went
Should have stayed independent.
transcripts and everything else like this, right? So he contacted Gucci and said, hey, can you meet me in the studio in Dallas? Because he's still on house arrest, right? So we can work on some music and talk about this contract. Gucci came down, brought 2 off-duty security officers, off-duty police officers at security with him. Went to the studio. One of the off-duty cops was in the car downstairs. The other one went up with him, but stood in the lobby, stood in the hallway outside the actual studio. Pooh Shiesty, his dad, this other artist named Big 30, and 6 other guys showed up to the studio. Wow. They got there, they had some drinks, whatever else. So then Pooh Shiesty asked Gucci to go into the sound booth along with his dad and Big 30. Okay. They asked Gucci to give him a release. When Gucci said no, they pulled out a gun and put it to his head. Made him sign the release with a gun to his head, and then filmed him signing it. At that point, oh, I forgot, Gucci actually came with this white cameraman named Matt and his other friend. The cameraman saw something was happening crazy in there, so he texted security to come inside. But at that point, they had blocked the door, and as Gucci was getting robbed, Pooh Shiesty's people started robbing Gucci's people. Okay. They took his watch, they took the 1017 chain, a bag full of money, and everything else like that. And then, when the cop tried to get in and see that he was outgunned, he let it go. Pooh Shiesty pointed a gun at everyone and said, leave. And then they left, and then everyone got arrested. Gucci Mane apparently gave statements, as well as the other victims. Okay. And that was a big deal, because I have a video from Gucci from 20 years ago saying he'd rather die than snitch. Yes.
Is it any situation that you can see yourself that you would talk to the police about a situation?
I would talk. I do that. Well, we for go do that. Where it's the Lawrence all said, well, here's our phone. Well, my won't do that. Won't snitch on niggas. We step down for ourselves. Like if I gotta go, I'm gonna go. I done went before. I don't want snitch on nigga to save my nobody life. Not even my own. I die.
And he's been saying that this whole time. I'm not a snitch. I'll go to prison before snitching. You got to kill me, before I snitch. And as soon as this situation, because here's the interesting part about this situation, right?
Right.
Is that If Gucci says, no, nothing happened,
Right.
we just had a conversation, I signed the release,
Drop.
then that release is valid. But if he said that it was signed
Ooh.
under duress, then it
Ooh.
gets ripped up.
Mm.
Because after the situation, Gucci dropped a diss song
Right.
talking about all this, saying he signed it under duress.
Wow, this is crazy.
This is the situation.
So here's my take.
Let's go.
For the people that's been following me for years, I want you to see a man that has evolved in life.
Oh.
Um, I told you something about 8, 9 years ago with Jeezy and Gucci. And you asked me, do you ever think they'll make peace? And I said, they will make peace one day. I said, because they have evolved, they became men.
Right.
6 months later, bam, they had the concert.
Yeah.
They shook hands. I was
Right.
there, so the whole thing. And you played it, I think a week later, and said, yo, TK was right. Let me explain to you about this now. When Gucci Man said that years ago, he was still, I'm just gonna say in my words, a child, still thinking like a child.
Sure.
Okay. In the streets, it's this, we get caught up in this illusion about snitching. We get caught up in all this BS. And I tell people in my show from time to time that snitching is the #1 salary for informants in the country. If you Google it, the salary, and you watch these documentaries on Netflix, they'll tell you that they cannot crack most of their cases without informants, without snitches. Gucci is owns a record label. He has a wife, has kids. You can't risk your life and lose all that.
Ooh.
When you live a good life, you see how we live. Drive nice cars, we travel the world. You have to do the right thing in life. Like, forget what people might say, oh, you snitching, whatever. People rather see you dead or in prison to say
the police
you ain't a snitch. But remember when we first saw it, when we read it with Cuff Boys, and we had just heard about it, remember what I said? I'm like, reporting crime and snitching are two different things. And I still stand on that. Snitching is one of them people who was with Pooh Shiesty snitching on Pooh Shiesty. That's called snitching. Look, that's called snitching. Reporting a crime? No, that ain't snitching, honey. That's reporting a crime.
He's a real one.
you're a real one. It's not like that, man.
It ain't.
And I want the young kids and artists to say, stop saying he's a snitch.
Right.
He got robbed.
Yeah.
He's a man now.
Yeah.
He has a family. Everybody, you got to start doing the right thing. I said this over and over again. No matter how tough you are, they got a place for you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, man, listen. Pooh Shiesty
Look at Vlad.
sat in prison for
3 years.
Yes.
And
Just to get out.
how he was going to get out his Gucci Mane contract.
The whole
And
time.
the best solution he found was kidnapping.
That's crazy.
That was the best he can come up with.
That's true.
Anything better than I'm going to kidnap him and put a gun to his head.
Right.
Now he might get life.
Ooh.
He might get, maybe not life, because nobody got shot. Nobody got hurt.
But that's all
But
right,
the guy-
ain't it?
The cameraman got choked up a little bit. He has a few little bruises around his neck, but that's
That's all.
great.
But let me tell you why he might get life.
Why's that?
He just got out of jail. He was
Look, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, that's armed robbery, and you on parole, nigga, and you on house arrest. The fuck?
on parole or
Look.
probation.
Yes.
Look.
So he's gonna get that time.
Yeah, he'll
Right.
get that back.
Then
New
because
charges.
That's only like 2 years, though.
yeah, he's gonna get that. But then they're gonna violate him. Not
Yeah.
they're gonna violate him, but then stack on all these other charges. Oh, that wasn't worth it. He gonna get 15 to 20.
Ooh.
One lawyer is saying 30
Ooh.
That's life.
because, multiple felonies at this point, and
Yeah.
this is just very blatant.
And what's crazy, he just got out. He wasn't even
I just, bro,
But listen, 100 days ago, he put out the first day out freestyle. 100 days later, he's writing his first day in freestyle.
that is insane.
Look at you, hit 100K.
I know you want
Watching
to be
it.
tough.
Hit 100K just watching.
Be tough.
Eee, shout out to TK.
I'm 66, man.
Ooh, and he look yummy.
I'm 66. What I'm saying is,
It ain't worth it.
This is a beautiful life if you make good choices.
Look, that shit ain't worth it,
It gets
honey.
better year after year.
It gets better. When I post the other day, I said, if your life is not getting better as you get older, you fucking up.
You fucking up big time.
And that's a fact.
Yeah, yeah.
It's sad when I saw it.
Let me glow up.
I looked at it a couple times. And I said, how the fuck can somebody be that damn
How
stupid?
can some the daddy too? To get your daddy in on it, it's crazy.
Come home. When you come home, you just want to have sex.
You wanna
Stay the fuck out the way
mind your business?
and mind your business.
Listen, I told you last night I couldn't sleep. But I was watching Gabriel Iglesias. Mind your business, respect your elders. Especially when you get out, I'm like, child, that's number two. Number two. Technically it's number one, but for men, they gotta get into some warm. They gotta cuddle, snuggle up. So that's always gonna be their number one. But you got to mind your business, honey. You got to. It's so vital now. It's so crucial now.
He called his probation officer 10 minutes before the actual
Look.
situation happened. The probation officer told him,
Get back.
"You're not on rec time. Go back home."
Get back.
Okay, on my way. But hold on. First, I gotta do something.
Get back where you supposed to be. Get back.
Yeah, man, listen. Listen, we have lived long enough.
And that was what they call it. One of those little divine intervention moments where you could have just recanted on the whole situation and you could have just sent everybody home and been like, you know what, don't worry about it. It ain't worth it. Let me just get back. You could have, that was your moment.
To see Gucci getting robbed by the young rappers.
This is sad. And knowing what kind of man Gucci used to be.
Oh, let me tell you, pregnant Gucci would have dealt with this the same kind of way.
Sure would have.
Pregnant Gucci would have.
That's hilarious.
Retaliated.
Gucci. What's that?
That's one thing that we also have to appreciate. I know that Vlad had the little flashback or whatever. But child, did you just see me read the book? Look, respected in these streets. And so I'm like, if I'm gonna put a gun to your head and rob you and shit like that, snitch. That's what they want to report the crime. Sorry, report the crime. Look, don't have me using the wrong terminology. Just report the crime. Like I said, anybody from Pooch, one of them 3, 4, 6 dudes plus Big 30 plus his daddy and him. Let one of them snitch. That's what snitching.
Stage, Vlad. That's funny. Yo, he would have destroyed. It would have never happened.
Yeah.
See what I
Oh,
mean?
he would have came in 30 deep.
He'd have came in 30 deep.
They would have looked
He
outside the
definitely
lobby
would
and
have had like a lot of people.
kindly ask him if he wants to sign it. If he says no, then we'll gladly say no problem, Mr. Maine. We will head out this way.
I don't know why Gucci didn't want it. I'm quite sure it was a horrible deal because most of those guys signed horrible deal.
Well, okay. So listen, let's talk about these horrible deals.
Uh-oh.
How many artists has Gucci Mane signed over the years?
I'm not sure.
Right. Who's
Let's
keeping
chat
up?
GPT it.
Okay.
How many artists
Not Chat
Gucci
GPT.
Mane signed?
Not Chat GPT. It's crazy.
Now this is just a sweet.
Yeah. Y'all don't even use Google no more. People don't even use Google no more.
Okay.
Okay.
Gucci Mane has signed as many as 35 artists.
Damn.
Eesh.
Out of those 35,
Right. How many are dead?
only a couple of them have actually made money.
Ooh.
That's not because Gucci's a bad A&R.
Right.
That's just how it works in the music business.
Industry.
When it comes to breaking a brand new artist that nobody has ever heard of.
Absolutely.
95% of the time,
Don't talk about
you will lose 100% of the money that you put into that artist.
Absolutely.
That artist will not pay you back.
I agree.
That is all on you. It is 100% loss.
Right.
So these deals have to be structured in a certain type of way where you'll get what The artist might seem as unfair, but you're going to get a bigger piece of a new artist if they actually blow, because you're making up for all the losses you've done with all the other artists. So yes, the artist that blows says, "Oh, I'm in a horrible deal. It's so unfair." They're not thinking about the big picture of what's happening.
Okay, that's smart.
That's what it is. But here's the thing: this deal's not forever. He doesn't have you in a 100-album deal.
Right.
All right, you guys, you in a 5-album deal. Get in the studio, drop those 5 albums. A couple years later, you'll be done. Then you'll go sign a big, huge deal with Universal or whatever else.
Absolutely.
Artist. That's just how it is.
How it is.
The alternative is not pulling out a gun to the CEO's head and say, "Sign this."
Or is it not when?
When you on parole.
This is, every year somebody proves me that they're dumber than the last person that got locked up.
Uh-oh.
He was dumb. Watch this.
Right, exactly. Because it's
Lil Durk.
every year, like nobody has no goddamn common sense.
Lil Durk.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at all the rappers that have crashed out,
Yeah. It just keep escalating. Yeah.
like the ones that are in jail right
Yes,
now,
he's
Durk.
up there.
he's up there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking now
Look,
he's really number one.
for sure.
Let's see what happens to Lil Durk.
Look,
See if he gets
I'm
convicted.
telling, I was like, child, we still, he done got pushed the fuck back again. I'm like, he done got pushed the back again. I'm like, damn.
For higher than
Yeah, but Lil Durk didn't get out of jail.
That's true.
True.
Like,
Okay, you got to go
yeah,
for it.
he wasn't even home enough to enjoy
100 days.
That's nothing.
Not even 4 months.
Not even for honey.
Not even 4
Not
months.
even a full
You know,
four.
people saying when he went back there, "Yo, you fucking back?
When are you back
Right.
here?
You back?"
Not
Already?
only are you back, but you're not coming home.
You finna sit your ass down.
Not for an armed kid.
Definitely not getting no damn bail. You finna sit your ass down.
Armed kid. And
That's what I said. I'm like, you got armed robbery, kidnapping and shit. That kidnapping gonna be crazy. Like, I'm talking about, and you got a parole violation. You at home confined.
best part. The guys, his crew, Pooh Shicey's crew that
Yeah.
robbed the cameraman and
Yeah.
everyone else,
Yeah.
they start posting the actual
The
item
fucking merch, the jewelry and shit on IG. Stupid.
on social media.
I saw that.
They start showing the same watch, the same chain, money.
All of them done. To the gentleman, if you ever get a shot to come back on the streets, I wish you the best. But
For sure.
in jail, every criminal that's already locked up is gonna look at them and say, "Y'all got to be the dumbest motherfuckers we've
Gotta
ever
be.
seen come in this jail."
And come back.
Yeah, man, I just don't get it. Considering, like, I can see if he's just broke and fucked up, but he was making money. Like, he
I
was
mean, it
actually.
wasn't a lot of money. Because, like, you do gotta understand, it take time, chill, bro.
Doing well.
And his song, like I saw this gentleman, he sang the song, like you just said, his song that he dropped on the freestyle blew up.
Yeah.
So all he had to do was just get some tour dates.
And just perform.
I'm sure.
I'm quite sure.
But
Yeah,
he
was
was
on
on
house arrest.
house
It was
arrest.
like,
Yeah.
but you could say, "Hey, this is for work. I need to make money."
Or it's gonna be done with it. Just keep putting out song. And when you're out, you go right on.
Yeah, man, listen, this is insane. I interviewed Big 30's lawyer.
Okay.
And he was saying, the story's different because they don't have any actual footage of the robbery in the studio.
Okay.
But they do have witnesses. And Gucci's one of them. Right, because from what I understand, this whole case will probably hinge on Gucci Mane not just cooperating, but actually taking the stand. That's correct.
Oh.
Right, because Gucci says no
Are
comment.
those meta glasses? Or am I tripping? Never mind.
I'm not going to show up. Could he be forced to actually show up in Memphis because he lives in Georgia?
The alleged incident happened in Dallas.
So
he would have to show up in Dallas if he's subpoenaed, but he could plead the fifth because if the story that he initially told, if he did tell the story, is not true, then he would have, filed a false complaint.
Right, true.
But again, looking at what he said this weekend, unless he's just putting that out there for the public so that people don't think that he's a cooperating witness with the government, he has nothing to do with this case.
That's right.
Now, what they're saying is Gucci has to take the stand for this to really
This
stick.
is gonna be interesting.
You think Gucci gonna take the stand?
Will he fold under pressure?
He doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to.
Or he could plead the fifth.
Or
Uh-oh.
a good detective, a good prosecutor don't need him.
Right.
The state to take it over.
Oh. Oh.
People don't know that. It's like in the domestic violence.
Oh, right.
If your girl don't show up because she's not gonna press charges, they don't need her no more.
Well, here's the thing, right? Because some of those guys traveled from Memphis.
Right.
Yes.
So the reason why it's a Fed case,
Cross state
the
lines
feds say that they traveled
to
over
commit a
state
crime.
lines to commit an armed robbery.
Right.
Oh yeah, so
Now, if they can't prove they went over there, now he said,
With the
"Listen, my client
intentions.
been 30 has been recording in that studio, so he went there to do music. You can't say he went there." It's a good point,
Right.
but then the state could take it over and say,
Well,
"Oh,
that's
we don't need that part."
the feds are gonna keep it, but they don't need the witness. They don't need it. They'll
They
just
have
take
witnesses.
Right. They'll take the case themselves. It's a sad story.
It's a sad story, man.
It's really a sad story.
It's a sad story, all right.
It really is.
Oh,
It's a
y'all
sad
just gonna
story.
keep saying the same shit over and over, repeating each other? Okay, got it. Oh, wow. Here we go. 31 minutes. Come on, stop playing with them. 51:49. I told you, didn't I tell you about Sam? Did I not just say Sam? I said Sam Altman, $50 billion contract. I know I just said it. Oh, that pressure washer. Oh, it's a nozzle. It's not an actual pressure washer. You gotta have your own pressure. I was just looking up these. Let me see. Solid brass scrubber. Okay. Oh, it's double. Interesting. Oh, it say. Oh, okay. Do a triple. She does look nice. And then here we go again. Get 50% off. 90-day. Okay. You're right. It's just a little nozzle. And they got a triple one for $50. That's not that bad. I mean, it's not a pressure washer, but it's only, you know, it's only, and then it's the little nozzle. I like that. Just let me pay attention.
Cleaning fast.
Let's go. Let's go.
This next part is
Yeah.
where I think it's a little bit
It's a
interesting.
clip.
They say that Tom and Hussein were transported to the San Francisco County Jail and booked for negligent discharge. Okay, I found
Wait, what?
very interesting because negligent discharge means something very different than a targeted assault.
Right.
Sometimes things are timed just a little too perfect.
Sure.
So much so that you just can't help it but ask, is this really all just a big coincidence? Or could there be something more going on here?
Let's see.
Because we on this channel have been talking about Sam Altman for years. But last week's Ronan Farrow piece in the New Yorker was, I think, the first mainstream investigative piece exposing what we've been talking about: Sam's lying, his deceit, manipulation, possible criminal sister, mysterious death of an OpenAI whistleblower named Suchi Balaji.
Yeah. Please say his name. How much time I got? Because I could go get, 15 minutes. I should be straight.
And
And
the
then
internet
I'm going to get off of here.
blew up talking about, the things that we've been talking about for years now. And Sam Altman and his PR team had to go into full damage control. One coincidence that people noticed right away is that Sam had been called out in Farrow's reporting for ignoring safety protocols. And on that same day, OpenAI just so happened to drop this announcement introducing the Child Safety Blueprint, a framework for combating and preventing AI-enabled child exploitation, which I think is something that Sam Altman might know a thing or two about, allegedly. But over the weekend, Sam Altman went from being this hated sociopathic CEO, allegedly, to now a victim of online extremist violence. Take a listen.
Hi, Harris.
So Fox News exclusively here right now as FBI agents literally just swarmed the home of that 20-year-old suspect accused of trying to kill the CEO of OpenAI by throwing a Molotov cocktail at his house. Now we have the Harris County Sheriff's Office here, and again, the FBI. I want to say over a dozen federal agents and law enforcement officers. You can see his garage is open here. Now, sources tell me the suspect was driven by strong anti-AI views, and he was arrested in San Francisco carrying a document that he wrote attacking AI. That document is a 3-part series and includes a list of names and addresses of other AI CEOs and investors. Now, investigators have identified
Why y'all got a mailbox here, but y'all okay.
him.
Never mind.
20-year-old Daniel Moreno Gamo.
Moreno.
We have a picture, a surveillance image here sent to me by one of my sources. He's accused of traveling from his home here in Texas, again, where we're standing outside of now, to San Francisco to carry out this attack. So that was the first of 2 attempted attacks on Sam Altman over this past weekend. This right here is the other incident reported by the San Francisco Standard that Sam Altman's home had been targeted in another attack with 2 suspects arrested. And that early Sunday morning, a car had stopped and appeared to have fired a gun at the Russian Hill home of OpenAI CEO, according to the police. Now, I'm not saying quite yet that these were false flags or anything like that.
Right.
But I do have some questions, as I think we all should in high-profile cases like this.
Sure.
Because look, the reality of the situation is, if you had Googled Sam Altman's name last week, this is basically what you would have gotten. Articles like Sam Altman is having a really bad week. The most powerful man in tech has also a sociopathic lack of concern for consequences. Futurism. Inside sources say Sam Altman is a sociopath. News Nation, unconstrained by truth, Sam Altman profile cast doubt on his trustworthiness. OpenAI boss Sam Altman is a sociopath who cannot be trusted, tech insiders say. So basically, this guy, Sam Altman, controls a lot of the AI industry, lacks basic human empathy, and should not be trusted.
Okay.
Not ideal, to say the least, for Sam Altman, but guess what it looks like now. Sam Altman's home targeted again days after Molotov cocktail attack. Second possible attack near Sam Altman's home. Suspect in Molotov attack on Sam Altman's home linked to AI Discord server. New York Times, Molotov cocktails hurled at Sam Altman's home. So essentially, he goes from being a deranged sociopath to now the ultimate victim. Okay, and he played this hand quite nicely, okay, taking the social media
This morning, and I wasn't sure if I would actually publish it, but here it is.
immediately the day after the attack.
Right.
This is what he posted directly on his blog. He says, "Here is a photo of my family more than anything." And he posts this picture of his husband, who he, by the way, met at Peter Thiel's hot tub at 3 a.m. That's an aside to the story. And of course, his beautiful child. Nobody can hate on that. But, you know, pretty nakedly using his baby and his...
Oh, so he gay. Interesting. Interesting.
Another as a prop, which I guess, you know, it's your kid, so you can do whatever you want with them.
Right.
And I think obviously kids should be protected at all costs.
Right.
But remember, Sam Altman is a master manipulator.
Sure.
As we've been told by many people who are close to him. Okay, and here's what he writes. Images have power, I hope. We normally try to be pretty private, but in this case, I am sharing a photo in the hopes that it might dissuade the next person from throwing a Molotov cocktail at our house. Think about me. The first person did it last night at 3:45 a.m. in the morning. Thankfully, it bounced off the house and no one got hurt. The first person. Yeah, you tell me if I'm reading too much into this, but the first person, doesn't that kind of imply that there will be a second person? And when this was written, that second attack had not happened yet.
Right.
So was he like not supposed to have sent that out yet?
Right.
Or maybe it was a Freudian slip, or maybe, like I said, I might be reading too much into it. I'll let you decide. But the one thing I did find kind of weird, to go back to that article from earlier, was that the media reported this as a target on his home.
right? Early Sunday morning, a car stopped and appeared to have fired a gun at the Russian Hill home of OpenAI CEO, according to the police. But if you go to the SFPD website, it says, quote, on April 12th, 2026 at approximately 2:56 a.m., San Francisco police officers responded to Russian Hill regarding a suspicious occurrence of possible shots fired. Through the course of the investigation, officers learned that a vehicle with 2 occupants drove past a residence around the time of possible shooting. Investigators assigned to the Special Investigative Division took over the investigation and determined the vehicle belonged to a 25-year-old Amanda Tom of San Francisco. Officers responded to the 2000 block of Taylor Street to detain Tom and 23-year-old Mohammed Tariq Hussein without incident. This next part is where I think it's a little bit interesting, where they say that Tom and Hussein were transported to the San Francisco County Jail and booked for negligent discharge. Okay, I find that very interesting because negligent discharge means something very different than a targeted assault.
attack.
Right?
Okay.
Negligent discharge is the unintentional firing of a
Right,
weapon caused by
right.
carelessness or improper handling,
Right.
whereas assault involves the intentional, willful threat or application of force against another person. So, based on the way the police have charged the subject,
I wonder why Tory didn't get negligent discharge. It was just a thought that I had in my head that I figured I would say out loud. Um,
it seemed to me that it was an
I guess because somebody was injured, right? I'm assuming that's why. Because, well, she said she had stepped on glass. So
unintentional
I
firing
don't know. I don't know.
been due to carelessness, not
I don't know.
an attack directed at Sam Altman
Right.
or his family. And Altman now says that we need to de-escalate the rhetoric, saying, quote, while we have that debate, he's talking about AI there, we should de-escalate the rhetoric and tactics and try to have fewer explosions in fewer homes, figuratively and literally. And that's why I think it's critical that there were 2 attacks over the
Right.
weekend, because one attack would mean that it's sort of an isolated incident.
Sure.
Somebody threw a Molotov cocktail, whatever. But now with 2 attacks, the narrative is now changing to that this guy, Sam Altman, is now facing extremist violence on.
I was able to see it because and I see that cushion. I don't think I saw that cushion the first time. I think it's all cushion, actually. I thought there was like some, but it looks to me, okay. Oh, I don't need all that to go to sleep. I really don't like stuff on my face. I really don't like that bonnet on my head, but I still have to. It's either wear it or you be trying to shout out to the bonnets because you have no idea what we had to go through before the bonnets came.
Now let's dig in a little bit more to that suspect who
Oh,
threw
okay.
allegedly the Molotov cocktail at Altman's home and also threatened OpenAI's headquarters. And he was evidently an active poster on Discord under the username Butler. And he was also a member of this group called Pause AI, which is an anti-AI advocacy group. And he posted recently, this is on December 3rd, 2025, we are close to midnight. It's time to actually act, which could be interpreted as some kind of call to action, not necessarily violent, but could be construed as such. And now the Pause AI group is forced to respond, saying, quote, Pause AI unequivocally condemns this attack and all other forms of violence, intimidation, and harassment. We wish safety and peace to Sam Altman, his family, and everyone affected. Pause AI exists because we believe everyone deserves to be safe, including Sam Altman and his loved ones. Violence against anyone is antithetical to everything we stand for. So you see how everything has changed now in a matter of 48, 72 hours. Right now, this legitimate activist group
Right.
against the proliferation of AI and all these data centers that are polluting and also using up a bunch of resources. They now have to contend with all of a sudden being lumped in with domestic terrorism.
Right.
Now, again, I am not saying yet that Sam Altman planned these
Not
attacks
yet.
himself, but it just so happens that years ago there was a very interesting parallel for when Ronan Farrow exposed Harvey Weinstein for his many transgressions. Weinstein then hired a private intelligence firm called Black Cube to threaten and discredit journalists and reporters. Black Cube is a private intelligence agency based in London, Tel Aviv, and Madrid. The company was founded in 2010 by former Israeli intelligence officers Dan Zarella and Avi Yanis. Its employees include former members of Israel.
He is irritating me without zooming in on his little bitty ass text.
Intelligence, aka the Mossad. In the past, it has supported IDF activities. Black Cube is criticized for not following ethical rules. Its tactics have resulted in a number of international controversies. In Canada, the firm was criticized by an Ontario court for an attempt that aimed to discredit a judge by trying to get him to make anti-Semitic comments in secretly recorded meetings. In Romania, 2 of its employees were convicted of criminal charges involving harassment and hacking. The firm also drew condemnation for covertly surveilling and assisting efforts to discredit women accusing Harvey Weinstein of sexual violence, and the investigative journalists researching whether those accusations were credible. Now, the big question is, could Altman be doing something very similar right now? I, of course, have my suspicions and also a few insider sources indicating to me that it is a very distinct possibility that Altman has hired Black Cube to do some of this work, although can't confirm that at this point. So I'm just going to say a big
Allegedly.
and then there was this other famous case when protesters at Standing Rock were infiltrated by another private security firm called Tiger Swan, basically to paint these environmental activists out to be violent extremists and arguably going in there to foment jihadism. Okay, think old school, FBI, COINTELPRO kind of tactics.
Right.
Using agent provocateurs to incite violence that would then justify massive police crackdowns,
Black
changing the
Panthers.
narrative completely, changing how
Right.
the public views this particular issue.
Mhm.
Li Fang actually did a great piece a couple years ago digging into private spies that were being hired by the FBI and corporate firms to infiltrate Discord, Reddit, and WhatsApp.
Ooh.
Well, what we do, we work with Personas and Magnus Svard, a director at Dark Owl, which is another private security firm. We've done this at scale since 2018, so there's some trust in the personas that we've up, whether they're on Discord or Telegram or whatever. And so they're talking about
Telegram.
creating all these profiles and personas within these communities to try to either surveil them or maybe get them to do certain things. Yeah. We are obviously very early in the story in the sense that many details have not yet been released. Sometimes it'll take weeks, months, maybe even years for the entire truth to come out about these things. But by then, of course, the counter narrative tactics
Right.
put into place by these powerful elites through these various dark private security organizations or maybe even the FBI themselves,
Ooh.
They've already taken hold. And maybe Congress will even pass laws protecting these elites like
Ooh.
Altman and other corporate entities
Ooh.
and stripping rights away from people.
Mm.
So although I'm not concluding anything just yet,
Sure.
I think it's important that you and I are aware that we may be in the midst of such a psychological operation. That is certainly something I'm going to stay on top of. Let me know what you guys think. Does this look fishy to you, or could it just be a coincidence and bad luck for Sam Altman? Sound off in the comment section below. And also let me know if there are any other thoughts or ideas that you have about him or rabbit holes you think I should go down. If you want to support my journalism, you can become a member by going to my website, 5149gameslead.com. Pick yourself up some merch there. If you're not able to, no worries at all. Just take a second to like this video, give it a thumbs up, share with your friends and family, subscribe, hit that notification bell so of course you know when the next video drops. As always, thank you so much for your time, and I will see you in the next one.
Has there ever been a
And in the meantime, in between time, I'm gonna get on the bike. Oh, wait.
I mean, who orders DoorDash and then shoots himself? I mean, maybe.
Wait. Because this was a very, very interesting interview. that Tucker did with Sam Altman. And let me tell you something. I just wish that he would have like brought it down a little bit. Tucker was so amped up, and you got to remember, Tucker had already sat down with Shakir's parents. I just wish he would have toned it down, dialed it back a little bit. He was too worked up. he was too worked up. But he was talking about Shakir when he had ordered food, takeout, got on the elevator, went down, grabbed it, came back upstairs, and then somehow he ended up shooting himself twice.
This is where it gets, I think, a little bit painful, just not the level of respect I'd hope to show to someone with this kind of mental. I get it. I totally get it. It's people do suicide without notes a lot. Like that happens. For sure. People definitely order food they like before they commit suicide. Do you think he committed suicide? I really do.
Here's the truth.
I'm gonna get on about it now. Because that was pretty much it. We took care of Candace. We did Niecy. And then we swung over there by TK because he was on Vlad. And then somehow 6149 came on in. So in the meantime, in between time. Okay, love you, bye.